Hello dear viewers, support me by subscribing to my channel and share my video if you like it, and also make sure you comment your thought. Now let's start the video. Naruto awoke with something very rare in the ninja world. A peaceful morning. The sun poured through the sleek glass windows of Mount Justice like golden syrup, pooling over the floor and warming his face, as if even the sun was like, "You did great, kid. Sleep in." He stretched luxuriously, back popping, limbs limber, chakra pulsing through his body like a perfectly tuned engine. For the first time since arriving in this dimension of tech geniuses and caped weirdos, he didn't feel like a lost tourist. He felt strong. He felt rested. He felt not alone. "Man," Naruto murmured, flopping back against the bed. "Having Kurama around full-time feels good." "About time you noticed," Kurama grumbled in his head, sounding vaguely insulted. But Naruto just grinned. Because yeah, he had a partner now. A piece of home. And for the first time in forever, he didn't wake up with that hollow ache in his chest, the one that whispered you're alone every morning since he was a kid. He was not alone. Throwing on his orange and black gear, because fashion never dies, Naruto stepped out into the sleek metallic common area of Mount Justice, and immediately noticed something different. The team was assembled. And not just chilling, they were focused, alert, circled around Nightwing like students around a really good-looking substitute teacher. Nightwing looked up from his holographic mission screen. "Morning, Naruto. Hope you slept well." Naruto gave a thumbs up, so cheerful, it could have jump-started a car. "Like a log. I'm pumped for our sparring match today. Also, do you guys have ramen, or do I have to summon it from the Shadow Realm?" A few chuckles rippled through the room. "Ramen can be arranged," Nightwing replied with a half-smile. "Thank Immortal," Naruto exclaimed, and then like the Chaos Goblin he was, launched himself forward and hugged Nightwing like he was reuniting with an old war buddy. Which would have been fine, if Naruto hadn't forgotten he was now built, like a golden demigod fueled by solar steroids, and ancient fox chakra. "God, Naruto, ribs. Ribs!" Nightwing gasps, sounding like someone getting squeezed out of a toothpaste tube. Naruto instantly dropped him like a hot potato. "Hands up." "Oops. Sorry. I swear I didn't mean to nearly crush you. That was my happy to have breakfast hug." Nightwing took a moment to realign his internal organs, before managing a strained chuckle. "No worries, just maybe stick to high fives for now." Once the room stopped laughing at the accidental near homicide, Nightwing shifted back to business mode. "So, about that spar, you sure you want to fight me? You could go against Connor. He's the strongest physically, or maybe test your speed against Kid Flash." Naruto shook his head, eyes sparkling with that familiar blend of optimism and mild insanity. "Nah, I want to fight you. Different types of fights teach different things. And besides, back home, sparring with your friends is how we grew stronger. We tested each other, adapted, pushed ourselves to the next level." Mugen looked surprised. "You mean you fought your own team?" "All the time." Naruto grinned. "Kakashi-sensei even made us fight bells. You'd think that sounds easy. It's not." Robin smirked. "You sound pretty confident. You sure you're ready for what Nightwing can do?" Naruto met his gaze with the kind of look that said, "I fought a giant fox once," and walked away. "Trust me, I'm ready." Nightwing chuckled. "All right then. Match starts at 12:30. Until then, kitchen's that way. Let's get you some ramen before you suplex someone else by accident." Naruto's grin grew impossibly wider. As Naruto and Nightwing strolled through the sleek corridors of Mount Justice, the conversation shifted naturally from food to fighting. A logical progression when one of you is a ninja and the other is an ex-Robin. Naruto gave the older hero a curious side-eye. "So, how do you usually fight? No offense or anything, but you're not exactly bursting with laser vision or muscles that punch planets." Nightwing smirked, unfazed. "That's true, but I don't need powers to win a fight. Strategy, experience, technique. Those go a long way. I've taken down people twice my size by thinking 5 steps ahead." Naruto's grin widened. "Oh, that makes this even better. Let's see if your strategy can handle my unpredictability. I mean, my battle plan is basically wing it until something explodes." Nightwing raised an eyebrow, amused. "That explains a lot." "Hey, controlled chaos is still a strategy." Nightwing chuckled. Only if you live through it. They turned into the kitchen, which was more like a sleek sci-fi cafe than anything Naruto had ever seen. There were smoothie stations, high-tech ovens, and even a glowing touchscreen ramen generator. Okay, it was just a regular microwave, but Naruto was convinced it had the soul of a chef trapped inside. As they entered, a sudden flash of orange and green energy zipped past them. Starfire, glowing with her usual sunny radiance, zoomed into the room and immediately wrapped Nightwing in a warm hug. "Greetings, beloved," she said cheerfully, giving him a quick kiss on the cheek. "I sensed your energy signature and wanted to say hello before you begin the glorious combat of friendly intention." Naruto blinked. "Combat of what now?" Nightwing coughed. "She means sparring." "Oh, yeah, that checks out." Then Starfire turned to Naruto and tilted her head. "You have very curious energy. You remind me of Beast Boy, and also myself. It is the chaotic brightness. It sings." Naruto's jaw dropped slightly. "Wait, what?" "You are like if Beast Boy and I had a spark child," she added with a bright, genuine smile, as if she hadn't just made the wildest comparison Naruto had ever heard. Nightwing choked on absolutely nothing and gave her a look. "What he is bright and strange, and exploding with joy and danger. It is a compliment." Naruto gave 2 thumbs up. "Honestly, I'm not even mad. I've been called worse. Also, oh, Spark Child, kinda cool." They made their way to the counter, where Naruto was finally handed a steaming bowl of heaven, ramen, blessed be. Naruto clasped his hands together reverently. "Thank you for this gift, ramen lords." "Do you always talk to your food?" Nightwing asked, as he leaned back with a protein shake. Naruto didn't break eye contact with the ball. "Only when I'm about to go to war." Starfire floated beside him, watching with wide, fascinated eyes as Naruto inhaled the noodles like a vacuum, with ninja reflexes. "I believe he is ascending," she whispered. Nightwing sipped his shake. "He's definitely something." The sun was high in the sky, casting golden rays across the lush island that surrounded Mount Justice. The waves lapped against the shoreline in a gentle rhythm, almost mocking how peaceful the world was before Naruto Uzumaki decided to drop an explosive idea in front of a dozen superpowered teenagers. Naruto strolled beside Nightwing across the grassy clearing, hands behind his head soaking in the breeze. His stomach was full of ramen, his chakra was buzzing, and his mood absolutely ready to be punched into the stratosphere by new friends. When they rounded the building and reached the wide-open training field that spilled into the beach, Naruto's blue eyes scanned the group ahead. A small crowd of heroes, some lounging, some sparring, some just enjoying the sun, turned their heads as the 2 newcomers approached. Nightwing raised a hand in greeting. "Team, meet Naruto Uzumaki. He's not from around here." "Understatement of the century," Naruto muttered under his breath. Standing, or floating around, were Beast Boy, who was mid-transition from a toucan into a teenager, with mossy green skin. Superboy, arms crossed like a living wall of brooding muscle, and Blue Beetle, his alien armor glinting in the sun. Beside them stood Robin Tim Drake, sharp-eyed and silent, and Lagoon Boy, who was suspiciously eyeballing Naruto like a territorial sea creature. Static, meanwhile, gave a casual nod, sparks crackling from his fingertips. Chilling by the water were the girls he had met earlier. Wonder Girl, Batgirl, Bumblebee, Miss Martian, and Starfire, who waved cheerfully. Naruto returned the wave, grinning. "Hey everyone! Great weather, huh? I hope you're not too tired, because I'd like to fight all of you." A beat of silence. "What?" Robin asked flatly. Nightwing, arms folded now, replied casually, "Naruto wants to spar the team." Beast Boy blinked. "Like, the whole team?" "Yep," Naruto confirmed with a bright thumbs up. "All of you, all at once." Superboy raised a brow. "That's ambitious." "Or suicidal," Blue Beetle muttered under his breath. Wonder Girl frowned. "Are you sure you know what you're asking for? We don't exactly hold back when we train." Naruto chuckled, not even a hint of worry on his face. "It's fine, I can make hundreds of clones. So even if all of you come at me at once, I've got the numbers advantage." "Clones?" Robin asked, still unconvinced. "He means shadow clones," Nightwing supplied. "Each one has solid mass, can think independently, and disperse when hit." Superboy crossed his arms tighter, frown deepening. Still sounds arrogant to me. Wonder Girl nodded. You're basically asking us to dogpile you. That's not sparring, that's a beatdown. Naruto laughed. Exactly, and I'm fine with that. I'm not some sore loser. You can all knock me around like a practice dummy, if you want. I'll just get stronger from it. That got a few raised eyebrows. I'm used to it, he added with a grin. Back home, half my friends used to punch me during training. I was like their favorite punching bag with a smile. Beast Boy scratched his head. I mean, if he's volunteering. Besides, Naruto said, what better way to learn each other's fighting styles than to experience them head on? Win or lose, I'm not gonna cry about it. Nightwing didn't interrupt, he was watching closely, letting the situation unfold. Naruto reminded him of another brash, sunny-haired boy he'd once known. Someone who ran headfirst into chaos, not because he thought he was invincible, but because he had something to prove. Miss Martian floated closer, her expression soft. You're really okay with this? Naruto nodded. If I collapse, someone can just drag me back inside and dump a bottle of water on my face. Easy. Lagoon Boy chuckled. You're insane. Just passionate, Naruto replied. Insane comes later. Naruto stood tall, kunai in hand and mischief in his eyes, like a kid who just challenged a chess club to dodgeball. Let's play a game, he said, flipping the broken kunai between his fingers. Simple rules. You guys pick a target. Someone holds this batarang. I'll keep this kunai. If I steal yours before you steal mine, I win. If one of you gets this from me, well, feel free to rub it in. There was a beat of silence. That's either the most fun idea I've ever heard, Beast Boy said, or the most infuriating. Blue Beetle tilted his head. So, like ninja hide and seek? Exactly, Naruto beamed, but with the added bonus of explosions. Nightwing crossed his arms thoughtfully. Alright, fair rules, but we're making this a challenge. You keep the kunai on your person, no clones hiding it in another dimension, or whatever your ninja magic allows. In return, we'll use this batarang. He held up a standard-issue black wing-shaped gadget, and it stays on whoever we choose, no passing it around mid-game. Naruto grinned, already loving the setup. Deal. I'll signal the start with an explosion, Nightwing added. You'll know it when you hear it. With a final nod, Naruto vanished into the forest in a flicker of orange, wind whipping behind him. Somewhere between this is going to be fun, and I hope I don't get vaporized, he darted between trees like a blur of sunlight. Back at the beach, the team gathered into a loose huddle. Superboy crossed his arms with the intensity of a guy who didn't understand board games and was pretty sure he hated them. You seriously think he can pull this off? Come on. He doesn't even know who has the batarang. Nightwing kept his tone neutral. That's the point. He's testing us as much as we're testing him. This isn't about winning. This is about figuring out where he fits on the team. Exactly, Batgirl said. And Connor, I'd really appreciate it if you didn't Hulk smash our guest until he tries something actually worth smashing. Lagoon Boy snorted. I say let him try. I'll bubble wrap the batarang before he gets anywhere near it. Wonder Girl gave him a dry look. Yeah, because you're the one we'd trust to protect the most important item. Robin Tim adjusted his gloves, completely ignoring the banter. So who's carrying the payload? Nightwing turned to Miss Martian. Megan, you're our best bet. Stay invisible, airborne if possible. Don't attack unless necessary. Let him come to you. Miss Martian nodded. Understood. The team huddled in a tight circle like the world's most athletic breakfast club. Years ago, this moment would have been chaos. Superboy charging in first, Beast Boy cracking jokes mid-battle, Lagoon Boy doing literally the opposite of what he was told. But now they waited. Because Nightwing was the boss, and even if he looked like the cool older brother who always knew where the pizza was, everyone on that beach had learned not to underestimate him. Especially Lagoon Boy, who once ended up inside a frozen bubble trap for 3 hours because he didn't follow orders. So when Nightwing asked, "How do we kick ass?" they listened. He glanced at the holographic scanner in his hand, fingers dancing across the controls. He's gone. A silence fell over the group. What do you mean, gone? Robin asked, leaning in. I mean, Nightwing said, tapping the screen. No trace. He vanished right off the radar. Stealth level spooky. Megan, Miss Martian closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. A moment passed and her eyes snapped open. He's near the far cliffs. just above the ocean. His mind is sharp, focused, excited. So he's waiting for us, Superboy said, cracking his knuckles. Nightwing smirked. Then let's not disappoint him. He pointed at Superboy. You and Starfire approach directly. Test his reaction time. Force him into the open. Starfire's eyes lit up, literally. It will be a glorious battle. Bumblebee, Nightwing continued, turning to the tech-savvy hero. Hover behind them. Use your vibration wings. If he tries to throw anything, shred it in the air. Bumblebee gave a firm nod. Roger that. No ninja tricks getting past me. Lagoon Boy, Nightwing said, pausing for just the tiniest second, possibly for dramatic effect or caution. Head into the water. Give us control of the ocean. Try to trap him with water pressure if he gets too close to the cliffside. Lagoon Boy cracked his knuckles. Finally, something I'm good at. Beast Boy, Nightwing added, turning to the green shapeshifter. Go alien. Beast Boy grinned. Thought you'd never ask. A bright flash of green light lit up the beach, and a moment later, Beast Boy stood there as a hulking, four-armed alien with dark armor-like skin, glowing yellow lines, and gravity-controlling fists. Galilean mode. Activated. Everyone took a step back as the sand beneath him started to compress under his influence. He's gonna regret inviting us to this party, Beast Boy rumbled. Nightwing gave a final nod. Everyone else, hang back. We'll observe and adapt. Remember, this isn't a fight, it's a test. Let's show our guests just how serious we take our games. Naruto floated silently beneath the crystal waters surrounding the island, the ocean wrapping around him like a velvet curtain. In the silence of the deep, his golden chakra flickered and danced like sunlight refracted through glass. He sat in full Budu Sage mode, suspended in meditation, his body glowing, his mind anchored deep within himself. His cloak of golden chakra rippled outward, disturbing no water, yet marking his domain like a silent current of power. Nature energy poured into him from every direction. Earth's rich, vibrant energy was far denser than what he'd ever experienced in his own world. It buzzed with life, tension, emotion. His enhanced senses could hear the gentle rhythm of fish swimming nearby. He could feel the vibrations of Beast Boy's shifting forms on the surface. He could even taste the faint scent of ozone carried by Bumblebee's electric field high in the sky. But for now, none of that mattered. He was inside. Within the familiar space of his subconscious, the great stone pipes and shallow water echoed with a deep, ambient hum. The massive seal had long since faded. Now the area felt less like a cage and more like a sacred temple, the temple of the nine-tailed fox. Kurama lay comfortably in a curled heap, the ambient glow of Naruto's chakra giving his fur a warm, fiery shimmer. His ears twitched lazily, and his eyes, vast pools of ancient intelligence, cracked open with mild curiosity. This, Kurama said, with a yawn, is the first time we've been able to cut loose with no war hanging over our heads. No Akatsuki. Just a bunch of overpowered kids in tights. Naruto chuckled, still seated in lotus pose within the seal space. His voice echoed calmly through the chamber. Yeah. And for once, we don't have to hold back to protect anyone. It's just us. A perfect field test. Kurama's grin widened slightly. Let's play with them. Naruto smirked. Careful. That sounds like something the old you would say. Kurama snorted. Maybe. But you and I both know this world has its own monsters, and they won't all be this friendly. We need to know how far we've come. Naruto's face turned serious, the playful light in his eyes replaced with resolve. I'm eager to see how strong they really are. His Superboy's chakra, or whatever that energy is, feels heavy. He's stronger than me physically, probably even without trying, but he's not the sharpest blade in the armory. Starfire's worse, Kurama added, stretching his limbs. She's a living sun with arms. One hit from her at full power could shatter bones. Be careful. Wonder Girl's strong too, but I think the others will be easier to handle. Blue Beetle has some sort of armor. AI, Beast Boy is unpredictable, but not dangerous, unless he pulls something crazy. The rest, I can end most of them with a single hit, assuming I don't get tech blasted in the face first. Kurama narrowed his gaze. Don't get cocky. The tech here is unlike anything back home. If you see a toaster flying toward you, don't assume it's just for bread. It might shoot lasers. Naruto snorted. Yeah, noted. No trusting kitchen appliances. Perma's tone softened slightly. Just fight the way you always do. Use your unpredictability. Use your clones. I'll keep an eye on the field. If anything happens outside your range, I'll react with the chakra limbs before it hits you. Naruto glanced up. Thanks, Kurama. Kurama huffed, clearly pleased. Truce. Don't get sappy on me now, but yeah, I got your back, Naruto. Always. A silence settled between them, filled with the hum of energy and mutual respect. Naruto slowly opened his eyes back in the real world, still underwater, his pupils glowing like twin comets. Let's see what Earth's finest can really do. And far above, on the island, a faint boom shattered the calm, the signal. The game had begun. But Naruto, he was already moving. The air above the island had been calm, until Naruto decided otherwise. A shriek of wind split the sky as the air pressure shifted unnaturally. Leaves spiraled upward, the sea churned, and clouds twisted into a vortex of roaring energy. A massive tornado exploded into existence. Spiraling between Starfire and Superboy like nature itself had hit the panic button. Whoa! Superboy grunted, flinching instinctively against the gale force winds whipping around him. Before he could regain balance, a golden blur blasted through the tornado like it was made of cotton candy. Naruto! Riding the wind like a living missile, chakra arms glowing and trailing behind him like divine banners, he slammed full force into Superboy Rasengan first. Found you! Naruto shouted gleefully, chakra limbs snapping forward as he grabbed both of Superboy's arms mid-air, pinning him. The Rasengan, bright, buzzing and bloated with nature energy, detonated against Superboy's chest. It didn't explode violently, but rather expanded, enveloping him in a swirling cocoon of force that sent the half-Kryptonian hurling backward like a very angry cannonball. He smashed through a cluster of palm trees before disappearing in a shower of debris. I always wanted to try that in flight. Naruto muttered with a grin. Meanwhile, Starfire blazing with emerald light had already shifted her attention to the clone Naruto that had zipped toward her. You think trickery can win you this battle? She said, firing twin bolts of star energy. The clone held up a hand and compressed the air between them in an instant. The bolts dispersed mid-air like someone had smacked them with a paddle of pressure. Then, two glowing chakra arms shot out, each wielding a Rasengan aimed right at Starfire's flanks. With reflexes born of combat against literal immortals, Starfire screamed forward, unleashing concentrated beams of energy from her eyes and hands in a defensive crossburst. The air ignited between them in a burst of light, chakra clashing against alien energy in mid-air. The clone held firm for a second, then poofed in a puff of smoke and golden sparks. Starfire hovered, breathing heavily, scanning for the next incoming threat. Back on the other side of the battlefield, Naruto barely had time to adjust his flight path before gravity itself betrayed him. Gotcha, Beast Boy shouted, except his voice was weirdly low-pitched and echoey. Naruto's feet suddenly dragged downward like someone had tied sandbags to his soul. The pressure on his body doubled, tripled. Even his chakra cloak wavered for a second. Beast Boy in his chosen Galilean form, complete with glowing eyes, anti-gravity pulses, and 6 weird antennae, soared overhead like a smug alien stingray. Gravity control, huh? Naruto muttered, dropping to one knee mid-air, as he tried to adjust. Then it got worse. A searing red beam of heat scorched toward him, Superboy's heat vision cutting through the sky like a laser pointer from hell. Naruto's eyes widened, but his hands were already forming seals. Substitution jutsu. Boom! Superboy blinked as the beam struck something, but instead of Naruto it was Starfire. Wait, what the? She shouted, spinning mid-air to break. Naruto reappeared above, grinning upside down as he hung suspended in mid-air, thanks to his wind chakra. Sorry, Star, but I really needed a fire shield. Kurama snorted in his mind. That was dirty. I'm proud. Naruto laughed. Don't worry, I'll buy her a fruit smoothie after this. From the sky to the sea, chaos broke loose. Wind howled, sand kicked up into miniature cyclones, and chakra surged like a tidal wave as Naruto, hovering mid-air with golden energy blazing from his skin, clasped his hands together with a grin that said, "Now I'm done holding back." Kage Bunshin no Jetsu. With a thunderclap of chakra and a flash of golden light, poof, poof, 10 Narutos exploded into existence, Each was cloaked in a swirling mix of Kurama's chakra and nature energy, their hair fluttering, their eyes sharp. Each clone turned to a specific opponent. "One for you," Naruto muttered, pointing to Nightwing. "One for you," he said, turning to Superboy. "And one for each of your lovely faces," he added, spinning dramatically and pointing toward Batgirl, Bumblebee, Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, Wonder Girl, Lagoon Boy, McGann, and Tim Drake like a reality TV host, giving away door prizes. Then came the wind. Naruto raised both arms as the very air seemed to tremble, and dozens of mini tornadoes burst into life. They scattered the sand, kicked up seawater, and sent the team into a scrambling frenzy. "Let's play!" Naruto's clone dove into the shimmering water like a golden dart, and the ocean welcomed him with a cool silence. But before he could swim forward, crushing water pressure suddenly slammed down on him like an invisible cage. "You're in my domain now," came Lagoon Boy's voice through the current, confident and smug. His figure shimmered through the waves, his arms outstretched as the water around him twisted like living serpents. The clone grimaced slightly, but remained calm, his golden glow rippling. "I could end this, but I won't. Not yet," he thought. "I'm here to learn, and to learn, I've gotta be patient." Lagoon Boy wasn't joking about control. He fired high-pressure water bullets like torpedoes, each one sharp enough to punch through rock. Naruto dodged them with smooth underwater spins, enhanced by the calm clarity Sage Mode provided. But then came the surprise. Naruto raised his hand, and with a subtle twist of his fingers, the water around Lagoon Boy shivered, and then pressed inward. The Atlantean's eyes went wide. "You!" Naruto's voice echoed softly through the water. "Yeah, turns out Sage Mode boosts elemental control a lot. And this planet, it's just full of energy. Feels like I've tapped into the sea itself." Lagoon Boy snarled and puffed up, his muscles bulging, his frame doubling in size as he activated his mutation. "Then come at me like a real man." The chakra around Naruto's clone shimmered, and with a sly smile he snapped his fingers. Water sharks materialized out of the swirling ocean around them, snapping toward Lagoon Boy like summoned beasts from the deep. The Atlantean roared, pushing back with focused jets of water and precise bends, expertly breaking apart the constructs. But the control Naruto had shocked him. Each shark didn't just exist, it moved with intention, as if the water itself was listening to Naruto's will. "This is impossible. He's a land dweller." Inside Naruto's mind, Kurama snorted from his spot in the seal. "Inspired by the Akatsuki, huh?" Naruto, watching through the clone's senses, smirked. "Yeah, Kisame always made water techniques look cool. I figured it was time to upgrade my style. You think he'd be proud?" Kurama chuckled. "Proud? He'd probably challenge you to a shark summoning contest." Lagoon Boy shot through the water like a torpedo made of pure ego. His green fins sliced through the ocean currents as he aimed straight for the glowing golden figure floating beneath the surface like some kind of sea deity on vacation. "Let's see what you got, Land Ninja," he shouted, fists raised, water coiling around his limbs like living armor. Naruto's clone waited calmly, his Biju Sage Mode casting warm light through the surrounding sea. His long chakra tails drifted behind him like tendrils of sunlight, his eyes sharp and glinting with fox-like curiosity. "Oh, I've got plenty," he replied, and then boom. The water exploded between them as they collided. What followed could only be described as an underwater ballet, with an action movie budget. Lagoon Boy fired water bullets, dozens of them, each one sharp enough to punch a hole through coral. Naruto weaved between them with a lazy grace, letting the current twist him into fluid dodges. Then came water prism jutsu. Lagoon Boy formed a spiraling dome around Naruto with practiced ease, until Naruto simply smiled, raised his hand, and the prison burst into harmless droplets around him. "Nice try," Naruto called, spinning a stream of water into a pressure spear and hurling it like a harpoon. Lagoon Boy barely ducked, using the tail of his own current to redirect it. Slash after slash, bullet after bullet. The two clashed with water-bending fury. Lagoon Boy's strength, amplified by the sea, made him fast. Stronger than Naruto expected. In fact, if Naruto had faced him without Sage Mode, he might have actually bruised me, Naruto muttered to himself, flicking away another spiral of water slashes with a casual chakra tail. As the fight wore on, it became painfully obvious Naruto wasn't breaking a sweat, or gill, or chakra bead. Lagoon Boy, on the other hand, had a busted lip, a cracked rib, and was now moving with that classic "this is fine" grin that screamed, "I am losing gracefully while my pride weeps." Finally, breathing heavily, Lagoon Boy threw up his hands, figuratively because his actual hands were busy blocking another mini water shark. Okay, he gasped. "Just hit me already. Give me your strongest shot and end this man." Naruto tilted his head, surprised by the sudden surrender. "You sure? I was having fun." "Yeah, well, I'm not," Lagoon Boy muttered. "You're like water itself hates me now." Naruto chuckled and gave a respectful nod. "You were awesome, seriously. You almost made me use two tails." "Wait, what?" Pop. Naruto vanished from sight. Lagoon Boy's eyes darted around. Where'd he go? Yosh. Naruto reappeared at his flank, chakra glowing brightly around his hand as a massive Rasengan spun to life. "Thanks for the spar," Naruto said kindly. Wham. The Rasengan didn't explode. It didn't rip the ocean apart. Instead, it became a controlled spiral of force, compact and precise, slamming Lagoon Boy downward and pinning him gently to the seafloor like a surprisingly considerate wrecking ball. The Atlantean's eyes fluttered, and then, darkness. Naruto sighed and caught him before he hit the seabed too hard. "Kurarama," he muttered. "You were right. I am getting better at control." "About time," the fox muttered lazily from inside. A few moments later, a soft poof announced the clone's exit from underwater combat. Naruto emerged from the surf with Lagoon Boy slung over his shoulder like a seaweed-covered gym bag. He laid him gently on the sand, then looked toward the others. Some mid-battle, others watching in disbelief. "One down," Naruto said cheerfully, brushing kelp from his jacket. Nightwing had been in a lot of chaotic battles before, alien invasions, time-traveling assassins, even that one time Wally West turned into pure electricity. But this was something else. From his perch atop a tree trunk, he watched as clones, so many clones, erupted from golden energy and smoke, each bearing the same cocky smirk and flowing chakra limbs that made them look like fox-themed green lanterns with no off switch. "Oh, great," he muttered, ducking as a mini tornado spun uncomfortably close to his head, whipping leaves and a poor squirrel into an involuntary air ballet. "He's a golden lantern ninja now. That's fun." He tapped his comm. "McGann, we need illusion cover. Give him something confusing. Keep him guessing." From somewhere above, Miss Martian's voice answered. "Already on it." In the blink of an eye, the battlefield shimmered with clones of the clones. Dozens of them, Narutos, dancing around each other, laughing, sparring, exploding. Some rode giant frogs. One seemed to be holding a bowl of ramen while fighting. It was peak chaos. But it didn't last. Naruto's voice echoed from multiple directions at once, calm but playful. "Nice try, but I can sense life force, and nature's telling me exactly where you all are." The illusions shimmered, and were instantly dismissed like bad fan theories on the internet. Nightwing cursed under his breath. "Figures." "All right, new plan," Nightwing barked as he flipped back to the others. "Everyone, close ranks. Do not split up. Naruto's goal is to isolate us. We're not playing that game." With practiced efficiency, he flung out metallic discs, each clinking into the ground and pulsing with blue light. A shimmering energy barrier sprung up in a wide perimeter, surrounding him. Miss Martian, Static Robin, and Batgirl. "That'll buy us time," he muttered. "Plan B. Stay together. Beast Boy, increase gravity, force those clones down." Beast Boy in his hulking Galilean form, the air around him shimmering as he manipulated gravity with a low growl, crushing field incoming. A gravitational pulse slammed into the clones, distorting the battlefield like a collapsing star. "Blue Beetle, go!" Nightwing shouted. Johnny's armor hissed to life, anti-gravity boosters flaring. "On it," he yelled, zipping through the gravity field with ease. Cannons blazing. Behind them, Bumblebee hovered at range, firing sonic blasts like a wasp on steroids. Static followed up with crackling lightning arcs, lighting the sky like an angry thunder god. Wonder Girl took the lead, the silent armor wrapping her in an invisible cocoon of divine force. With a gleaming diamond-forged sword in hand, she slashed through the air, guarding the others, while the barrier discs from Nightwing held firm. For a second, it looked like it was working. The gravity held. The attacks were relentless. The field was secure. Then came the substitution. Poof. Leaves fluttered. Leaves? Seriously? Robin muttered, scanning the battlefield. Nightwing's eyes widened. No, too late. The real clones had already swapped out with Wonder Girl herself and her team's cover. Like a fox in a henhouse, Naruto's clones emerged from the ground, chakra arms erupting in a golden explosion that cracked the earth and grabbed at the team's legs like glowing vines. Look out! Batgirl shouted, dodging by flipping over a spiraling tendril. Wonder Girl reacted instinctively, her sword flashing as she cut through one of the arms trying to snare Nightwing, but she didn't see the Naruto clone behind her. Thanks for the save, the clone said cheekily, and slam. A full-powered Rasengan drove into her back, controlled enough not to kill but forceful enough to hurl her like a rocket into the air. Wonder Girl was tough. Her armor absorbed most of the impact, but she was out of the formation now. She's down, Robin called, scanning the trees. One of the clones dragged her away. We're losing people, Nightwing growled. This kid, he's doing exactly what I'd do. Flank, divide, isolate, and incapacitate. Naruto was starting to think he might have overdone it. He hovered in the air like a chakra-wrapped demigod, watching his Rasengan-slinging army cause panic, flash step, confusion, and the occasional light property damage. He wasn't trying to win exactly, it was more like he was letting off some steam. That is, until Nightwing called him out mid-chaos. Naruto. Nightwing's voice cut through the wind like a shuriken made of calm logic and authority. Can we talk for a second? Preferably without a Rasengan in my face. Naruto blinked and waved 4 of his clones over. The ones hovering near Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Miss Martian. The golden chakra flickered slightly as they landed. Nightwing crossed his arms and gave Naruto the classic Nightwing look. Calm, cool, with just a dash of I will outthink you. Sunshine boy. Look, I get it. You're strong. Like freaky dimension level strong. But we're not Kryptonians. I'm human. Robin's human. Batgirl's human. And while we've got training, gadgets, and a ridiculous tolerance for pain, we're not built for a Rasengan hug. Batgirl gave a thumbs up behind him. Robin just frowned like someone had insulted his cape stitching. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepish. Ah, right. Sorry. I guess I got carried away. Understandable, Nightwing said, smiling a little. It happens when you drop tornadoes on your new coworkers. Robin muttered. Multiple tornadoes. Nightwing continued. How about this power down? Drop to, let's say, bare minimum superhuman. Enough to give us a challenge, but not enough to crater the island. Naruto grinned. Deal. Let's see what you bad people can really do. Meanwhile, in Clone Town, while Naruto and the 4 conversation clones were distracted hashing out power limits, something subtle stirred in the mental waves. Megan, Miss Martian, was focused. Psychic energy swirled around her like mist, invisible to all except those attuned to minds. She reached for one of the clones. Not the loud one, not the one laughing at Batgirl's gadgets, the quiet one, the one deep in thought, considering Nightwing's suggestion, with furrowed brows and a philosophical sigh. She slipped in. No resistance. Just like that, she was inside. Her green eyes widened. His clone mind is completely separate from Kurama, which means no fox to stop me. Gotcha, she whispered, and made the clone turn. Robin, ever alert, noticed the twitch in movement. Is that one looking weird to anyone else? Before anyone could respond, the possessed clone flared to life and lunged forward with shocking speed. Not toward Nightwing or Batgirl, but toward the other Naruto clones. Hey, I wasn't done talking. The other 3 clones instantly sensed the surge of unfamiliar intent. The air crackled. One clone yelled, "Wait, he's compromised." In a synchronized blast of golden energy, the 3 unaffected clones flew skyward, leaving a glowing crater behind as they rocketed out of range. The possessed clone blinked, then looked surprised. "Aw, come on," Megan muttered through it. Naruto, from his ocean view perch, blinked in confusion. Then realization hit him like a Sage Mode chakra brick. Wait, she can hack my clones. Kurama's voice echoed in his head with a low growl of disbelief. Of course she can. No fox in them, remember? They're basically walking windbags with flashy hair and no mental defense. I thought I made them smarter this time. You made them shinier. There's a difference. Naruto groaned. This world has psychics that can remote control me. Robin, now fully intrigued, stepped beside Miss Martian. Can I try something? Megan, still linked to the clone, handed him the reins. And just like that, Tim Drake was in control of a Naruto clone. He grinned. So, this is what it feels like to have chakra. The clone's arms glowed, chakra limbs extending slightly like golden tendrils of energy. He aimed one at a tree and flicked. Boom. Sweet. Back on the field, the remaining Naruto clones regrouped above the trees, keeping their distance now. One of them whispered, "Okay, new rule. If anyone acts even slightly weird, assume it's mind-hacked." Another nodded. No blinking weirdly, no sudden poetic thoughts. Naruto facepalmed from afar. This was supposed to be a fun spare. Now I'm getting cloned, hacked, and played like a chakra-powered puppet. Robin wasn't usually the kind of guy to gloat. He left that to certain other Robins. But as he stood on the battlefield in a borrowed Naruto clone body, golden chakra rippling off his arms like solar flames, he couldn't help but whisper to himself, "This is awesome." From across the field, the real Naruto watched the golden-cloaked version of himself spin twin chakra machine guns into existence and mow down a tree just to test their kickback. A bit excessive, sure, but undeniably stylish. That clone's chakra is being pushed to its limit, and Robin's controlling it like a pro. Naruto thought, eyes glinting with excitement. Let's see what he can really do. With a crackle of energy, Naruto launched himself at the possessed clone. The clash came fast. Robin spun a chakra staff into existence, just in time to deflect a Rasengan uppercut, the golden sphere fizzing with compressed energy inches from his borrowed face. He retaliated with a wide sweep, his new chakra limbs helping him maintain balance as he whipped around and slammed the staff down. Naruto dodged, bending backwards with a flexibility that would have made acrobats cry, and responded with a low leg sweep. Robin jumped, twisting midair, and rained down glowing kunai made of solidified chakra light. Naruto blocked with a golden barrier that shimmered like stained glass before shattering it with a roar and countering. Bam! Chakra fists clashed midair. The resulting shockwave blasted dust and leaves in every direction, rippling out in concentric circles across the training field. Robin's eyes lit up. You really fight like a storm. Naruto grinned. And you fight like a tactician with a chakra cannon. You sure you're not secretly a lantern? Robin replied with dual eye lasers that scorched a path straight toward Naruto, who vanished with a pop and reappeared behind him with a chakra-laced roundhouse. Robin caught the kick barely and twisted Naruto's leg with a judo technique, slamming him to the ground. Okay, not bad. Naruto laughed, flipping back up and returning with a flurry of blows. Muay Thai knees, Taekwondo spin kicks, and grappling grabs that turned their spar into a rolling, glowing brawl straight out of an anime fighting tournament. Robin, for his part, kept pace, countering with sleek staff work, precise Aikido redirections, and pressure point jabs. Naruto barely dodged thanks to Sage Mode's enhanced perception. They weren't just fighting. They were dancing in battle, and the choreography was made of chakra and sheer willpower. Robin clapped his hands together and Naruto's clone body responded with mouth lasers. Why is this a thing? Robin laughed, even as Naruto backflipped through the beam, his own hands forming a Rasengan that crackled like thunder. Robin met the Rasengan with an energy barrier shield and absorbed part of the blast, only to have Naruto shoulder check him mid-defense, knocking him into a tree. Okay, Robin groaned, picking himself up. Definitely not meant for close-range bull rush. Naruto raised a hand and vines of golden chakra erupted from the ground, wrapping around Robin's clone body limbs. Had enough? Naruto grinned. Robin grinned right back. Not even close. A chakra shockwave exploded from the clone, blowing the restraints apart. Robin darted forward, his staff splitting into twin batons of hard light energy, and met Naruto once more in a dazzling display of strikes, dodges, and counter-strikes, all lit in gold. Robin had barely recovered from the chakra clone's explosion when a breeze blew through the field, cool, calm, and deceptive. Because Naruto was no longer laughing. He cracked his knuckles and stretched his neck with a loud pop-pop, his expression still friendly, but now edged with anticipation. All right, Naruto said, his grin sharper than usual. You've seen my energy stuff, my elements, my Rasengan, but now... He stepped forward. Another Naruto stepped out from behind him like a shadow peeling away. You're gonna see cloneful. Robin blinked. That's not a real thing. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Is now. Robin readied his staff as Naruto vanished, blurring forward with sage-enhanced speed. The real strike came low. A sweep kick to Robin's ankles, but before Robin could dodge, a second Naruto appeared midair, like he'd teleported above, and delivered a flying axe kick aimed at Robin's head. Wham! Robin barely blocked the high strike with his staff, but the clone popped on contact, releasing a chakra shock that threw off his balance. Naruto was already back in motion. He darted left, faked a punch, and two clones erupted out of the ground like trapdoor ninjas, one delivering a spinning elbow to Robin's ribs, the other landing a leaping sidekick from behind. Poof poof! Both clones vanished on impact. You're fighting like a hive mind, Robin coughed, staggering back. Nope, Naruto said brightly. More like a ninja flash mob. From the sidelines, Nightwing, perched atop a tree branch, narrowed his eyes. That's dangerous. Every clone has just enough substance to land a hit before popping. It's like he's spawning traps mid-combat. He's making the battlefield himself, Batgirl muttered, impressed despite herself. Each hit sets up the next one. Back to the beatdown. Robin tried everything. Sweeps, blocks, counter-grabs, but every time he thought he'd gotten the real Naruto, the real one attacked from the opposite direction. One Naruto punched. Another Naruto appeared mid-strike, turned the punch into a grapple, and threw Robin into a third Naruto, who flipped him again. It was like fighting a dojo full of prankster monks, who could teleport. Even when Robin tried to retreat, Naruto appeared mid-leap behind him, launching a spinning back fist. Clone. Another Naruto caught Robin in midair with a Muay Thai knee to the ribs. Clone. Then a chakra limb whipped out from behind a tree and pinned Robin mid-roll, so another clone could uppercut him like a launch pad. Clone. Robin hit the ground, coughing but grinning. Okay, clone feel is real, I admit it. Static. On the far side of the battlefield, where sand met forest and storm clouds brewed overhead, the air buzzed with static, literally. Static, the electric dynamo himself, zipped through the air as a living bolt of lightning. Sparks danced around him like excited fireflies. His eyes glowed with power, and his voice crackled through the comms. I've turned into lightning. I repeat, lightning. Let's see him touch me now. Across the field, Naruto's clone tilted his head. Huh, so you're energy now? He scratched his chin thoughtfully. That's cool. Then the clone smiled. A slow, fox-like grin. That meant danger. Static struck first. Literally, a bolt of lightning tore through the field and hit Naruto's clone's center mass. The ground exploded into scorched earth and dust. For a second, it looked like he'd landed a solid hit, until the smoke cleared and Naruto's clone stepped forward, smirking, untouched. What the? Static blinked from the treetops, electricity flickering around him. The Naruto clone reached toward his stomach, where the lightning had passed through, and then calmly reshaped his midsection, like molding clay. Guess what? Naruto called out. You're lightning, but I'm chakra, and chakra can phase too. He cracked his knuckles. So let's play. Static zoomed down again, arcing between trees like a living flash. He fired bolts of lightning, shock spheres, crackling bursts of ion energy, and the Naruto clone let them pass through him, like smoke through air. Try hitting me without phasing through me, Naruto teased, his clone body flickering with golden energy. I dare you. Frustrated but still grinning, Static kicked it up a notch. He gathered electricity into a massive energy disk and hurled it forward like Zeus on caffeine. Naruto didn't even flinch. He raised his hand and bent the wind itself. The disk shattered against an invisible barrier of compressed air. Control the wind, Naruto said, his voice calm, and you control the battlefield. Static was starting to feel it. Slower reactions, heavier limbs. The lightning form was fast, but drained energy quickly, and now he noticed something weird. The air around him was thin, too thin. He gasped, just a little, but it was enough for the Naruto clone to smile. Did you forget? Naruto said softly. Lightning burns oxygen fast, and I control the wind. He clapped his hands together, and the wind vanished from the air around them. A perfect vacuum formed within a tight bubble. Static tried to shout, to retreat, to breathe. But it was like trying to inhale smoke underwater. His body flickered back into solid form, instincts kicking in. But by then, the damage was done. With no air, and his energy nearly depleted, Static collapsed mid-strike, his body falling into the Naruto clone's arms. Too strong to hit directly, Naruto murmured, gently lowering him to the ground, but too reliant on your element. He placed Static carefully on a soft bed of moss and gave him a quick thumbs up. Respect the hustle, though. That lightning form was sick. Meanwhile, from the main field, Nightwing's HUD pinged. Static's down, Miss Martian reported with a frown. Knocked out. Looks like he's breathing, but barely. Naruto didn't injure him, just outplayed him. Nightwing nodded grimly. One clone. One down. We need to end this before he clears the entire team. Nightwing. If there was one thing Nightwing prided himself on, it was planning, strategy, contingency. The man had faced assassins, aliens, gods, and Batman's judgment. He'd seen it all. Or so he thought. Static's clone is vulnerable. Take it, he said, his voice calm over the comms. Brigand nodded, eyes glowing white, as her consciousness slithered into the distracted Naruto clone, still standing beside the unconscious Static. The clone, still caught up thinking, what if I used pure energy to phase into my own Rasengan? Barely flinched as McGann slipped in. Got him, she confirmed, a grin on her face. Transferring control to you. Nightwing's HUD pinged, control interface locked in. He felt the clone's power at his fingertips, a warm, golden rush of energy, ready to shape into anything. For one brief, shining moment, he was a ninja. Okay, he muttered, let's see what I can do. Crash. The golden clone's chest exploded inward before he could even move. What the hell? 3 more clones, no, 4, burst from the foliage like golden specters of vengeance. One with the calm menace of the Lagoon Boy Slayer. One with the lightning dancer poise of the Robin Battler. And 2 who looked like they'd just given Batgirl and McGann a very rude awakening. They attacked simultaneously. Nightwing barely had a second to register the danger. The clone body flickered under his control as chakra arms slammed into it, slicing with edge-sharp wind pressure and razor-light chakra. He threw up an energy shield with the unfamiliar body. It shattered instantly. Trap was all he could yell before. Boom! A massive explosion of golden chakra lit up the coastline as the clone Nightwing possessed was utterly dismantled. Bits of golden light scattered into the sky like confetti at a very violent parade. McGann shot back into her real body, gasping. They baited me, she said, breathless. They baited me. That clone was waiting. Then she felt it. Several chakra limbs coming from the soil itself. Nope, she yelped and phased straight down into the ground, intangible and invisible. Batgirl, standing alone in the clearing now, looked around with her eskrima sticks drawn and a lot of questions. Okay, she muttered, backing up. Let's not be hasty. The 4 Naruto clones turned toward her in eerie, perfect unison, glowing eyes fixed, chakra spiraling from their arms. Batgirl held up her hands. You wouldn't hit a defenseless girl, would you? There was a pause. One of the clones cocked its head. Then another said in a flat tone, the hammer of justice is unisex. Batgirl groaned. Right. Of course it is. She flipped backward, hurling smoke pellets as she sprinted toward the tree line. Behind her the ground erupted as the clones gave chase. Batgirl. Batgirl vaulted over a fallen tree with the grace of a professional gymnast and the drama of a Broadway lead. Her crimson cape flared behind her as she landed, rolled and launched a smoke pellet in the same motion. Behind her, 4 Naruto clones, glowing golden, grinning way too much, and having the time of their chakra-infused lives. She's fast, one clone said, flickering through the smoke. She's fun, said another, flipping into a sprint. She smells like lavender shampoo and bad decisions, the third added. The fourth? Guys, she's literally throwing caltrops. My feet aren't even real. And I felt that. Batgirl's voice called from somewhere in the trees. Sweet and smug. Come on, Naruto, number 72 or whatever. You gonna chase me all day, or do something useful? Hey, I'm Clone 59, one of them shouted indignantly. Another added, that's offensive. We have feelings. Well, Batgirl quipped as she hurled a flashbang backward. You're about to have a bright one. Bam. A blast of light seared through the forest. The clones reeled back with theatrical flails, because really, the flashbang didn't affect them much. They were just having fun. "Is this how you flirt in Gotham?" asked one clone, materializing in front of her with a playful lean. Batgirl smirked and flipped over him, landing behind and tossing 3 tiny explosive discs onto the ground. "Only with boys made of chakra and questionable impulse control." Another clone tried to catch her in a spinning sweep kick, but Batgirl somersaulted over him and blasted him in the face with pepper spray. He clutched his eyes and dramatically staggered. "I can't feel my eyes." "Wait, I don't have eyes. What did you spray?" "Regret," Batgirl said, sticking her tongue out. The chase continued, now weaving through the craggy cliffs on the island's east side. Batgirl ducked behind a boulder, placed a beacon grenade on a tree trunk, and waited. When the first clone dashed by, she leapt out, grabbed him by the collar, and pulled him into what could only be described as a trap hug. "Hey there, handsome." The clone blinked. She tapped something on his shoulder, beep, and kicked off his chest with both legs, backflipping away. The beacon exploded in a contained, concentrated burst of light and force, more designed to disorient than destroy, but the clone stumbled, flickered, and almost popped. Almost. "Too bad," he said, brushing smoke off his cloak. "That was close." Batgirl narrowed her eyes. "You're tougher than I thought. Or maybe I'm rusty." "Nah," said a second clone from a tree branch. "You're just outnumbered." "Oh please," she shot back, tossing a bola toward his legs. "I'm Batgirl. I've fought worse odds in high heels." "Respect," muttered a clone, as he dodged it midair. They closed in again, forming a loose square around her. Batgirl dropped smoke bombs, launched a taser, spun into a low kick, but they matched her step for step. They weren't pressing in. They weren't overwhelming her. They were playing, and she knew it. Batgirl sighed dramatically. "So are we sparring or just flirting? Because if it's both, I want at least a milkshake after." The clones glanced at each other. One scratched his head. "Do we even eat?" Another shrugged. "I mean, technically I remember what ramen tastes like, so." Batgirl rolled her eyes, then smiled. "Tell the real Naruto, if he wants to impress a girl, he needs to stop sending clones and come himself." Bumblebee. Bumblebee zipped through the air like a golden bullet, her body no larger than a soda can and moving too fast for the naked eye to follow. 1 second she was above the tree line, the next she was behind Naruto's clone, unleashing a point-blank sonic burst into his back. Boom! The sound wave hit like a miniature explosion, dispersing the chakra skin on his back and sending the clone tumbling through the underbrush. "Okay," Naruto said, getting back to his feet, golden energy reforming over him. "You pack a punch. You're not the only one who hits hard," Bumblebee quipped, teleporting midair in a flicker of light. She reappeared beside him, almost too fast to react, and drove her heel into his side. Naruto blocked with a chakra arm, but she'd already vanished again, her form blinking out with a pop, like a spark of lightning. "She's like a yellow Raikage with wings," Naruto muttered as he ducked another sonic lance and countered with a gust of wind. The wind didn't touch her. She teleported again, reappearing to fire a vibration pulse into the ground beneath him. Crack! The ground shattered beneath his feet as the very molecular bonds of the earth cracked apart. Inside his seal, Kurama gave a low whistle. "Okay, that's not bad. Girl's got science chakra." Bumblebee darted around him in blurring zigzags, alternating between full-size and insect scale, blasting waves of compressed vibration that distorted the air. Naruto tried to catch her with chakra arms, wind bursts, and even a sneak attack Rasengan. Nothing worked. She wasn't just fast, she was unpredictable. And Naruto loved it. "Kurama," he thought, blocking another vibrational shockwave. "Do you feel this? She's not hitting hard, she's hitting smart." "You're finally starting to get it," Kurama muttered, tail flicking. "That's frequency warfare. She's shaking things apart. You could learn from that." Naruto grinned, flipping back as a barrage of vibration blasts slammed into the forest around him. Leaves rained down like green confetti. "So what if," he muttered aloud, eyes glowing. Suddenly, he let himself get hit, deliberately. The clone's chest rippled, absorbing the vibration. Then it sang. A hum spread out from his body like a tuning fork. Bumblebee blinked in the air, hesitating for just a second. "Wait, did you just copy your frequency?" Naruto said, his voice carrying through the vibrating air. Yeah? Kinda figured if I match it, I can ride it. He blurred forward, using her own vibrational field to surf the pulses mid-air. What? Before she could teleport, Naruto was behind her with a chakra arm swinging in slow motion, deliberate, controlled, just enough to tag her and not destroy her gear. She blinked out of reach, but not before he clipped her wing. She spiraled slightly, recovered, and landed in the trees. Her full-size form appeared again as she held a hand to her wing pack. That's new. Naruto grinned. You're amazing. You weaponized music and physics. She raised an eyebrow. Did you just compliment science like it was ninjutsu? He nodded enthusiastically. I need books. So many books. Maybe a lab. I'm gonna vibrate my Rasengan now. Kurama groaned. Don't say that sentence again. Naruto stood in the center of the clearing, golden energy shimmering around him, his eyes sharp and glowing with Sage Mode's telltale orange pigmentation. The battle was heating up, literally. Every move Bumblebee made came with a flash of light and a sonic scream, but beneath all the bluster and flashes, Naruto was listening. More importantly, he was feeling. His Sage Mode wasn't just giving him heightened perception of life, it was letting him feel the subtle vibrations of the world itself. And right now, it was telling him a lot about Bumblebee's tech. He could feel her wings' frequency. Each pulse changed slightly depending on what she hit. Stone, high frequency, wood, mid-range. Chakra shield, slightly distorted, almost fuzzy. It was like watching music play through his skin. Naruto grinned. You change your vibration depending on the material's resistance, right? Bumblebee blinked, hovering in mid-air. Yeah, that's the basic idea. Accelerated particles, focused vibration fields. It's not magic, it's physics. He nodded thoughtfully, then said, You know, I can copy that. Before she could say anything, Naruto clapped his hands together. The air shifted. The wind itself began to hum, not loudly, not visually, but in a way that made the trees tremble, leaves shake, and the rocks nearby crack like they just remembered how fragile they really were. Wait, what are you doing? Bumblebee asked, suddenly struggling to stay airborne. Her wings sputtered slightly, the energy field around them flickering. Naruto's grin widened. I'm using the wind to carry vibration, but not just any kind. The kind your suit uses. I matched the frequency. Inside him, Kurama sighed. Now you're just showing off. The entire clearing began to resonate. The leaves danced, the dirt quivered. Even the birds pieced out, clearly wanting no part in Shinobi-tuned sonic warfare. Bumblebee tried to teleport, but her suit blinked out instead. Sparks crackled from her wrist module. Are you vibrating the whole battlefield? She shouted over the growing hum. Naruto gave a mock sheepish grin. Maybe a little. She crashed into the underbrush a moment later, with a loud thud. Naruto, ever the gentleman, was already beside her by the time she groaned and pushed herself up. You okay? She coughed, just mildly rattled. Literally. Naruto offered her a hand. Thanks for the lesson. Seriously. I had no idea you could use science like that. Bumblebee squinted at him, a mix of impressed and mildly offended. What did you think I was doing this whole time? Buzzing around like a light bulb. Naruto laughed, helping her up. No. Yes. You were awesome. I just didn't know vibrations could be so effective. Flash does this too. She nodded. He can vibrate his molecules to pass through walls. Superman can shatter mountains with focused hums. I'm just the budget version. Naruto turned toward the trees, eyes gleaming. Then I guess I've got more to learn. Kurama snorted. Congratulations, you've officially become a science nerd. Want me to grow you a lab coat next? Beast Boy. Beast Boy floated above the cracked jungle floor like a smug, emerald blob of physics, or more specifically, like a Galilean alien with gravity powers and exactly zero chill. Below him, Naruto stood with his arms crossed, squinting up at the green alien form like he was trying to decide if he should be impressed or insulted. So Naruto began slowly. You're like a flying green potato that can squash me. Beast Boy's distorted alien voice vibrated in the air like it had been auto-tuned by a refrigerator. Excuse you, this is a Galilean war form. Super advanced. Super dangerous. And also, Super squishy. He bounced slightly in midair for emphasis. Naruto made a face. You're threatening me with a stress ball. A stress ball that controls gravity, Beast Boy said, and with a dramatic gesture, launched a gravity mine. The air bent weirdly around the dark sphere as it hit the ground, and Naruto, predictably, got slammed downward like he owed the earth rent money. Ugh. Okay. Naruto grunted, peeling himself out of a crater. Note to self, do not underestimate the walking green planetarium. Another gravity ball floated by like a lazy moon, and Naruto dodged it barely, using a substitution jutsu that swapped him with a very confused coconut. Beast Boy blinked. Did you just ninja jutsu a coconut? I mean, it was nearby, Naruto shrugged, reappearing behind a boulder. And it volunteered, okay? More gravity mines popped into the field, floating like evil bubbles waiting to wreck your whole day. Naruto's clone dashed forward, dodging two, purposely getting hit by the third. It collapsed under the weight of the field with a whumph and stayed still. Beast Boy hovered over the motionless clone and blinked. Did I win? From the trees, the real Naruto watched intently, eyes glowing golden. Inside his mind, Kurama was humming. Feel that? Kurama said. The way the gravity compressed the space around the clone, that's a natural force. With Sage Mode, you're already part of the world's rhythm, you just need to let it move through you. Yeah, but I don't get the sciencey stuff. Naruto muttered mentally. Then stop thinking like a scientist. Think like a force of nature. Naruto closed his eyes, focused on the shifting pull of energy in the air, the warping of weight, the curve of movement. Slowly, almost instinctively, his feet lifted half an inch from the ground. He floated. Then he grinned. Oh, you're in trouble now, Naruto called, launching himself toward Beast Boy with a whoop. Beast Boy squinted. How are you flying? You don't have gravity powers. I do now, Naruto said gleefully. I call it Sage Gravity no Jutsu. That is not a real thing. It is now. They collided mid-air. Naruto's chakra arms burst forth to smack away incoming gravity balls, while launching his own mini pulses of gravity back at Beast Boy. Okay, not gonna lie, Beast Boy grunted, dodging mid-air. This is kind of terrifying. Yeah, welcome to my ninja style, Naruto shouted, swinging with a gravity-powered roundhouse kick that sent a shockwave through the trees. Clone full, plus natural disaster, you can call me Hokage of physics. No one's calling you that, Beast Boy snapped, launching a gravity surge that compressed air around Naruto like a bear hug from the moon. Naruto broke free by redirecting gravity downward with a pulse from his chakra-infused souls. He countered with a clone, popping in from above, only to dissolve into smoke as Beast Boy crushed it mid-flight. You're learning too fast, Beast Boy grumbled. This isn't fair, you're like a cheat code wearing a jumpsuit. Well, I'd apologize, Naruto said, charging up a Rasengan laced with gravity pull, but I'm way too entertained. Before the attack landed, Beast Boy's form glowed. With a burst of light, the Galilean form vanished, and in its place hovered a majestic emerald phoenix, flames trailing behind its wings, like curtains of living jade. Oh, come on, Naruto muttered. Now you're just showing off. Beast Boy flapped his wings dramatically. You're the one throwing planetary Rasengans, bro. I'm just trying to survive out here. The Firebird flared, sending green flames spiraling outward. Naruto dodged them with a flip, his excitement building. Okay. This just turned into my new favorite spar ever. Beast Boy screeched from above. Let's see how well that Sage Gravity no Jutsu handles a bird made of fire and sass. Naruto cupped his hands together. Bring it, chicken wing. Beast Boy was glowing. Not in a hey, you're doing great kind of way, but in a literal solar-charged, sun-eating, jade-green flaming kind of way. Hovering in the sky like a majestic green god of destruction, his immortal phoenix form radiated heat so intense, the clouds had started sweating. Naruto stood on the waves, arms crossed, staring up at his opponent with an expression that read, Okay, I see you, spicy chicken. Nice tan lamp you got there, Naruto called. You about to cook the whole ozone layer. The phoenix screeched, heat shimmering around him. He had been absorbing solar energy for the past few minutes, and now his green flames had reached will set the air on fire levels. In response, Naruto chuckled and closed his eyes. Alright, Kurama, he muttered. Let's show him what happens when the sun tries to roast a fox. Golden chakra burst from his body like a dam breaking. The ocean rippled violently. Trees on the island bent. In the next second, a colossal golden nine-tailed fox rose from the sea, each of its tails swaying with enough force to shift air currents. Beast Boy faltered in midair. "Okay, so we're doing giant monsters now," he said in his normal voice, somehow still audible from his firebird mouth. "Should have known." The fox growled, chakra limbs rippling across the air, voice echoing with Kurama's deep snarl. "You started it, Feather Duster." What followed was chaos. No, not your average ninja-style chaos. This was kaiju-level chaos. The kind you'd call in the Justice League to clean up after. Beast Boy flapped his wings and unleashed a barrage of solar fireballs, each one the size of a small house. Naruto dashed forward on the wind, using chakra-infused air steps to run across the sky like he was in a platformer game. His golden tails intercepted the blasts, twisting, spinning, slashing them apart mid-air. They collided above the ocean in a blinding shockwave, a Bajudama crashing into phoenix flames. The result was a blast so massive it vaporized a quarter-mile of seawater. Thunder rolled across the horizon. Fish filed a class-action lawsuit. "Okay, not going to explain that to Aquaman," Naruto muttered. Beast Boy zipped through the air, cloaked in solar energy. He dove at Naruto like a comet, claws slashing through golden chakra fur. Naruto roared, his tail spiraling into the sky. He launched chakra lasers from each tip, 10 simultaneous beams that arced across the air like divine judgment. The phoenix dodged 5. 2 hit the ocean. 1 melted a cloud. 2 hit Beast Boy. He screeched, spiraling back, green feathers scattering like burning leaves. But he wasn't down. He was energized. Beast Boy pulled back into the sky, then unleashed a solar storm. A sphere of concentrated plasma swirled in his chest, spinning so fast it bent the light around it. Kurama's voice echoed in Naruto's mind. "He's charging up something big. It's gonna be flashy." Naruto grinned. "So are we?" The golden fox vanished. In his place, Naruto reappeared. Smaller, yes, but with a Rasengan the size of a building spinning in his palm, surrounded by crackling wind, vibrating nature energy, and gravitational distortion. Beast Boy fired. Naruto launched. Both attacks collided in the sky, and detonated. The resulting explosion sent shock waves in every direction, capsizing waves and briefly turning day into greenish-gold night. When the light cleared, Naruto was behind the phoenix, his hand grabbing its tail. He spun. Once, twice, thrice. And with a roar, Naruto performed the most glorious seismic toss in chakra-based history. Beast Boy screamed, "Not again." And then he was slammed into the ocean like a meteor made of feathers and flame. A massive splash erupted, waves rising like walls before crashing back down. The phoenix form fizzled mid-air as Beast Boy's consciousness flickered and the transformation broke. He resurfaced moments later, dazed but alive, floating belly up. Naruto hovered above, slightly winded, but grinning. 10 out of 10. Would kaiju battle again? High above Earth, orbiting in the Watchtower space station, 2 of the most powerful figures in the world stood side by side, watching the chaos unfold below like it was the finale of an action-packed summer blockbuster. The monitor screen displayed a massive golden fox yeeting a flaming green phoenix into the Atlantic, like it was Tuesday. Because for Naruto Uzumaki, it was Tuesday. "Ha!" Superman slapped his knee, grinning from ear to ear, as the shockwave from the kaiju-style suplex turned the sea into an angry whirlpool. "Did you see that?" He just suplexed Beast Boy's immortal phoenix form, like it was a sack of groceries. He turned toward the man beside him. "Bats, are you seeing this? Tell me you're seeing this." Batman, who was notably not laughing, didn't even blink. "I'm seeing it," he muttered. His eyes flicked rapidly across the screen, analyzing, calculating, cataloging. His fingers danced over the keyboard, typing silently, every move Naruto made. Chakra manipulation, clone coordination, environmental control, elemental shaping, gravitational interaction, vibration frequency, chakra limbs, combat style was being recorded and logged. Silently. Thoroughly. Paranoidly. Superman tilted his head. "You're thinking of ways to take him down, aren't you?" I'm preparing contingency plans, Batman replied evenly, as if he wasn't mentally designing 17 prototype weapons and an anti-clone chakra dampener right that second. His power set is too flexible. Chakra constructs, elemental bending, nature-based sensing, deception tactics, regeneration via clone dispersal, all while maintaining absurd mobility and reaction speed. He turned slightly towards Superman. That's dangerous. Clark chuckled. He's a teenager. So was Dick Grayson, Batman said flatly. Dadalsha. They turned back to the screen, just in time to watch Naruto run up a mountain made of solid wind, leap off the peak, and then use a chakra rocket punch to clothesline a charging Wonder Girl in midair. Golden chakra limbs erupted from his back in wild patterns, like Dr. Octopus, and a fireworks show had a baby. Clark gave a low whistle. He fights like a lantern. But he thinks like a ninja. That's a dangerous combo. Batman didn't respond right away. He was now watching the residual chakra field Naruto was giving off, how it altered gravity, moved air currents, and even lightly disrupted radio signals. He has no real formal education in science, Batman said after a moment. He's doing all of this instinctively. Imagine what would happen if someone like Luthor got a hold of him and taught him how to weaponize this with precision. Superman gave Batman a look. You mean besides him already being a walking natural disaster? I mean if he started aiming his natural disasters like missiles. Batman's tone wasn't angry or afraid. It was just, Batman, calm, cool, absolutely unsettling. Are you building an anti-Naruto plan? I'm building 6, Batman said. 1 for each version of him. Original clone heavy, Kurama mode, elemental sage mode, and full power. That's comforting. Superman leaned back in his chair, sighing. You know, it's okay to just enjoy the show, Bruce. I don't enjoy shows, Batman muttered, but his eye twitched as Naruto created a spiral of chakra sharks to fight Starfire. Superman grinned and handed him a bag of popcorn. You will. Batman stared at the popcorn like it had betrayed Gotham. Blue Beetle. If you ever asked Naruto Uzumaki how he imagined a fight in the sky would go, he'd probably say something like epic ninja flips and maybe a mid-air bowl of ramen. What he did not expect was to be flying backward through a storm of plasma cannons, laser-guided mines, and floating weaponized scarab claws, screaming in some very judgmental alien language. The Sintagarglaara, the scarab screeched. I think your armor just told you to kill me, Naruto's clone shouted, zigzagging wildly through the clouds. He threw a pair of chakra spears into the air, only for them to be sliced apart by a plasma buzzsaw that materialized from Blue Beetle's gauntlet. Yanni Reyes grinned awkwardly. He said, you're not technically alive, so we're going all out. Oh, good. I was worried you were holding back while trying to atomize my face. The sky lit up with streaks of gold and blue as the two darted through the air, like dueling comets. Kaima's Blue Beetle armor shifted mid-flight, rocket boosters flaring, wings extending, and then folding into a high-tech railgun, the size of a motorcycle. Naruto's clone squinted. I don't know what that is, but it looks like pain. Boom. The sky split with a shockwave as the railgun fired a magnetic burst shot straight toward him. Naruto used wind release to deflect sideways mid-air, spiraling like a leaf in a typhoon. The clone's chakra arms reached out and hurled a Risen shuriken like a golden discus of doom. It screamed through the clouds, trailing energy crackles as it made a beeline for Jaime. The scarab didn't even flinch. A shield dome snapped up in front of Blue Beetle and absorbed the Risen shuriken's blast, like a boss-level tank in a video game. Okay, that's just rude, Naruto muttered. Kama's scarab chirped. Deploy aerial mines. Primary target, unpredictable blonde ninja thing. As Naruto zipped away to avoid getting turned into a golden firework, several floating mines deployed around him, each humming with glowing red glyphs. Oh, come on, Naruto huffed. This feels personal. The clone zipped under one, created a quick chakra clone, and swapped places with it in a classic substitution jutsu move. The original clone soared behind Chaimi and unleashed a Beju chakra tail laser, a brilliant beam of compressed destruction. Aimi spun midair, armor shifting again into a reflective panel, deflecting the beam upward, where it detonated in the clouds like a mini supernova. You're really hard to hit, Naruto called out, still dodging bombs and plasma disklets that curved toward him like angry bees with laser guns. And you're really annoying, Kame shouted back, half grinning as another cannon morphed from his back. This is kind of fun though. Oh, same, Naruto laughed as he zipped through the air, forming wind drills at his heels for momentum. He added a mental note, wind drill feet equals awesome ninja rocket boots. Must try later. But despite the good humor, Naruto was analyzing. Hard armor, reactive shielding, built-in weapon morphing, flight, versatility, regeneration. It was like fighting a chakra-powered Iron Man who was also part Transformer, and had a built-in attitude. And yet, the pilot was still a kid. Gammy's movements were fast, but lacked refined timing. His attacks were powerful, but scattered. The scarab wanted to kill. Gammy wanted to spare. Naruto saw the internal tug-of-war every time the armor moved. If Yame ever learned to fully sync with the scarab. Naruto frowned. This guy would be terrifying. Ashimi released 10 drones, all crackling with suppressing beams. Naruto didn't dodge. He let them all fire, only for his body to ripple into smoke. Substitution. Yame snapped just as Naruto reappeared directly in front of him, golden chakra fists glowing. Tag, you're it. Boom. Amy went flying back from the punch, skidding across the sky like a stone across water, but the armor absorbed most of the impact. Hovering in the air, panting slightly, Naruto's clone grinned. Okay, you win tech points, but I win best hair. Yaiming coughed and floated back upright. I'll give you that, your hair's weirdly majestic. Both of them floated there, catching their breath, nodding in mutual respect. Then the scarab chimed in ominously. Target remains active. Initiate vaporization protocol. Kimi groaned. No, not the vaporization protocol. We talked about this. Naruto's eyes widened. And on that note, poof, the clone vanished in a puff of smoke. Daini blinked. Wait, was that the real him? Clone, the scarab replied dryly. Just as the smoke cleared and Yamireyas thought he could catch a breather from the last clone fight, the air hummed, a sound like 1,000 bees trying to beatbox. Then came the boom. A golden blur streaked through the sky, trailing arcs of crackling lightning and gusts of hurricane wind behind it. If Shadow the Hedgehog had ever eaten a chakra bomb and learned ninja magic, he'd look exactly like what Blue Beetle saw. Naruto's clone skidded to a stop mid-air, golden chakra legs flaring with wind-driven propulsion like rocket boots, steam hissing from under his heels. In his right hand, a rotating golden lance had formed, spinning so fast it whined like a turbine, wrapped in glowing, stormy electricity. I call this one, the clone announced with a sly grin. The flashiest flash lance, trademark pending. Gemi didn't even get to respond. Crack! The clone blurred and appeared to Jaime's left, slashing with the lightning lance. Jaime raised an energy shield just in time, but the shock reverberated through his whole armor. Wham! To the right now. Wham! Then the back. Wham, wham, wham. 3 strikes from above and below, each one like a golden thunderbolt exploding on contact. Scarad track him. Attempting, speed exceeds predictive response. Suggest evasive. Boom! Naruto's clone reappeared right in Jaime's face. Peekaboo! He thrust the lance straight at Blue Beetle's chest plate. The scarab armor immediately deployed counterburst shielding. But even so, the electric shock short-circuited some of the external systems. Yene's body jerked back from the hit, sparks trailing from his arms. Warning, host muscular response deteriorating. Nerve systems destabilized, initiating repair. Not yet, Jaime barked. He gritted his teeth as he aimed both arms at the golden streak, now dancing around him like a lightning ninja on caffeine. Let's see how you like this Scarab Buster mode. 2 massive cannons flipped over his shoulders and gathered energy in throbbing orbs of searing blue light. Naruto clone saw it, paused mid-dash, and let out a soft, oh, kaboom! A searing double blast of energy lit up the sky like a second sun. The chakra clone vanished in an imploding swirl of gold, leaving nothing but smoke and a few scattering sparks. But Blue Beetle wasn't done. Across the battlefield, another Naruto clone had been standing over Beast Boy's downed Phoenix form, curiously poking his feathers. He paused. I wonder if these are good for pillows. Zinark. A beam of plasma sliced from across the sky, vaporizing that clone before he could say memory foam. The real Jaime hovered mid-air, panting and battered. Okay, he said, wiping sweat from his brow. Now I see why Batman always carries kryptonite. The scarab chirped smugly. Confirmed eliminations, 2 high-threat constructs. Advised tactical regroup. Hashimi groaned. Yeah, after a nap. Wonder Girl was not in the mood for pleasantries. One moment, she'd been holding the line with her team, and the next, a glowing golden chakra, Rasengan had plowed into her back like a rocket-powered bowling ball. The force of the hit had sent her flying through 3 trees, 2 bushes, and a family of very confused squirrels. Now she was airborne again, by choice this time with thunder in her eyes and lightning in her hands. You, Blondie, she shouted, spotting the chakra clone of Naruto standing atop a jagged rock formation, golden wind swirling around him. Oh hey, the clone grinned sheepishly, rubbing the back of his head. Didn't mean to throw you into a tree, or, well, 3 trees. Wonder Girl responded the way any reasonable demigoddess would. She charged, sword gleaming, lasso sparking. Naruto clone's eyes narrowed. Alright then, clone foe, activate. Thop lap, thop lap. 3 shadow clones popped into place around him, one flipping into the air, one dashing to the side, the last vanishing under the ground. The first blow came with Amazon fury. Wonder Girl's sword slashed downward, the force cracking the stone beneath her, but the main Naruto clone had already slipped backward, his Sage Mode senses tingling like mad. He didn't need to see the blade. The air around it vibrated with danger. The airborne clone came down behind her with a sweeping kick, only to get caught mid-fall and slammed into the ground with one hand. Ow, that one said before popping in a puff of smoke. The second clone darted in from the left, going low for a sweep. Wonder Girl leapt over him like a gymnast on caffeine, and then immediately twisted mid-air to throw her lightning lasso at the original clone. Nice try, Naruto clone shouted, ducking under it and launching a chakra arm that burst from the ground to grab her ankle mid-air. She yanked hard, spun, and used the momentum to kick one of the other clones in the face, sending him flying into a tree, which promptly exploded. Okay, the main clone muttered, she's good. Strong too, another clone muttered, reappearing at his side, like punch you through a mountain strong. And swordy, the third added, don't forget the swordy part. Wonder Girl landed with a boom. Her mystical armor, shimmering as an invisible force field, absorbed the landing impact. Her hair whipped in the wind, eyes locked on Naruto with righteous fury. Are you going to keep sending body doubles? She growled. Or are you actually going to fight? Oh, I'm fighting, Naruto said. This is just how I fight. Welcome to Clone Foe. And with that, the real fight began. Naruto dashed in again, feinting a frontal punch. A clone appeared behind her with a low kick, but she spun in a tight arc, blocking both strikes with her bracers. The clash echoed like thunder. One clone jumped from above, Rasengan ready, but Wonder Girl whipped her lasso up and yanked him mid-air, swinging him into another clone like a golden wrecking ball. Boom. Smoke puff, double knockout. The main Naruto clone grinned and kicked forward with chakra-powered speed, dodging her sword with Sage Mode precision, then spun with a chakra arm whip that sent her sliding back across the dirt. Getting tired yet? He teased. Wonder Girl gritted her teeth. Are you always this annoying? Only on Wednesdays and Mondays. And okay, all the time, yeah. She charged again. What followed was a blur of motion, clones flickering in and out of existence, chakra arms clashing against magic sword, wind pressure shaking trees, and lasso bolts lighting the forest up like a storm. Despite her insane durability, it was becoming clear Wonder Girl was on the defensive. Her sword sliced through 2 more clones, and her armor deflected most of the chakra slaps, but the unpredictability of Clone Fu had her cornered. She finally lunged for a decisive slash, but the real clone Naruto had substituted with a branch. Hwah! From behind her, he tapped her shoulder. Tig. She spun and a gentle Rasengan was already glowing in his hand. He slammed it into her armored chest, not enough to knock her out, but just enough to launch her into the air again, spinning like a glowing Amazon frisbee. She landed with a crash beside a rock formation, hair a mess, face scrunched in disbelief. I really hate that technique, she muttered. From atop a tree, the Naruto clone shouted down cheerfully. You're amazing, by the way. No hard feelings? She groaned. Only hard landings. Cassie sans Mark, Wonder Girl, Amazon warrior of epic punch strength, was having a very, very bad day. It started when a golden Rasengan threw her into a forest. Then she got swarmed by a shinobi and his clones in what could only be described as a ninja flash mob. But now things were getting worse. Naruto Uzumaki, whirlwind of chaos, grinning menace of unpredictable energy, had decided to get serious. The playful banter, gone. The casual clone antics, replaced by a perfectly choreographed storm of chakra limbs, invisible nature-attuned strikes, and his signature fighting style, Clone Fu, Dada Tuchu, Try and Breathe edition. Cassie wasn't breathing much. Okay, she shouted between blocked hits, her sword swinging wildly as she deflected one incoming fist, only for three others to narrowly miss her from behind, above, and somewhere she swore was underground. Can we go back to the warm-up mode? Naruto didn't answer. He was a blur, golden streaks, dancing across the battlefield, glowing chakra arms erupting from the ground, the air, even thin mist. Every time she focused on one Naruto, three more appeared with synchronized kicks, punches, and palm strikes. One clone went low. Cassie blocked with her bracer. A second came from above. She parried with her sword, but the third, it didn't even touch her. It just waved a hand. And she felt her ribs compress as if the air itself punched her. What the? She gasped, stumbling back. Invisible strikes. Nature itself attacking her. Sage mode. She had fought elementals. She had fought people who could bend light, heat, gravity. But she had never fought a shinobi who used the actual world as a weapon. You okay, Wonder Girl? One Naruto clone said behind her, completely unharmed and standing upside down on a tree branch. You look like you're trying to swat mosquitoes. She launched her lasso with an angry yell, but the clone had already vanished. From the side, another appeared and struck her side with an invisible punch that felt like a wind cannon. Cassie gritted her teeth, blocking another flurry of chakra arm slaps, ducking under a high-spinning kick, and using her sword to force back two clones, only to find herself immediately grappled by six more limbs erupting from the forest floor. You've gotta be kidding me. Sorry, another Naruto shouted. I just have too many arms. And clones. She screamed in frustration and shattered the bindings, her invisible armor flaring with golden light. Enough! With a mighty yell, she swung her sword in a wide arc, slicing through several trees and sending a shockwave of wind through the battlefield. But Naruto, the real Naruto, as far as she could tell, didn't even blink. He stood calmly, his eyes glowing orange with sage mode, arms at his sides. You done? He asked, raising a brow. Cassie panted, her stance slightly staggered, cuts and bruises forming along her arms, despite her armor. This isn't fair, she said breathlessly. He shrugged. It's not a fair world. Then he vanished. One punch to her stomach. A sweep kick that tripped her off balance. A sudden chakra hammer forming in midair that slammed into her shoulder. Then a final uppercut straight to her chin by a Naruto clone that seemed to pop into existence, hit her and disappear before she could even curse. Cassie went flying again, crashing into the soft sand of the beach with a thud and a cough. She lay there looking up at the clouds, sword still somehow in her hand. After a long wheezing breath, she groaned. I am never underestimating a smiling ninja ever again. From a few feet away, the real Naruto strolled over, hands behind his head. You're tough, he said cheerfully. Most people pass out after the fifth invisible punch. She glared up at him, face half buried in sand. Do you come with a pause button? Nope, he replied, offering a hand. But I do come with ramen if you survive to lunch. Superboy, high above the treetops of the now thoroughly battered island, a clone of Naruto Uzumaki, was about to test how far the limits of patience and chakra-fueled chaos could go, against Superboy of all people. The air shimmered with residual energy blasts and broken tree bark was practically snowing down like confetti. If this had been a tourist island, Yelp reviews would be full of great views. Got punched through a cliff by a teenager in spandex. Naruto's clone landed softly on a cracked boulder, golden energy sizzling faintly off his shoulders. His orange and black jumpsuit looked like it had survived a food fight with thunderclouds. Opposite him, Superboy hovered with that annoyingly chill look on his face, the kind you only get after winning all the arcade machines with a single token. You're not bad, Superboy said, adjusting the fingerless gloves on his hands. But you're throwing punches like you're scared of cracking my sunglasses. Naruto gave a crooked grin, panting lightly but still energetic. Nah, I'm just being polite. Gotta warm up the guests before I body them with chakra-fueled ninja nonsense. They rushed each other at the same moment. Superboy like a bullet made of muscle and teenager attitude, and Naruto, with his usual flair, launching himself forward with wind-charged rocket feet, golden chakra arms sprouting from his back like writhing ribbons of energy. Clash. Their fists met in the middle with a shockwave that sent all the poor nearby trees bending like they were about to break into applause. Superboy's strength was no joke. He wasn't just tanking Naruto's blows. He was reading them, countering them with a smooth rhythm. He fought like an older brother who had already beaten this video game and was now letting his little sibling think they had a shot. But Naruto was nothing if not adaptable. One clone, then two, then seven. Suddenly Superboy was surrounded by a blur of identical grinning blondes, all diving in with synchronized clone full, kicks from behind, a chakra punch from above, a Rasengan spiraling in from the right. Superboy spun, creating a telekinetic shockwave that blasted 3 clones into puffs of smoke. Nice trick, he called out, his voice echoing through the mist, but you'll need more than smoke and mirrors. The original clone narrowed his eyes. Cool. I brought more. From the edge of vision, chakra arms lashed out. One grabbed Superboy's ankle mid-flight, the other hurled a clone like a living projectile. Superboy crashed into the side of a cliff with a thunderous boom, cracking it like a dropped teacup. He emerged unfazed, brushing dust from his jacket like a model on a Levi's commercial. By the way, he said casually, floating higher, you do realize Nightwing's been manipulating this whole game, right? Turning it into a bunch of one-on-one matches to evaluate you. Naruto, now holding a swirling Rasengan in one hand while his invisible Sage Mode strike lashed out through the environment like nature itself, throwing shade, didn't miss a beat. Oh, I'm aware, he said, smiling knowingly. I mean, Starfire and you could have tag-teamed me ages ago. Blue Beetle could have cleared out all my extra clones with that cannon of his. But you didn't. He flickered behind Superboy with a crackle of golden lightning. So, since Nightwing decided to turn this into an advanced sparring session, I'm happy to play along. Better than being turned into a punching bag and tossed into the ocean like Beast Boy. Superboy chuckled, casual, cool. Every inch, the too handsome biker teen, it's good that you understand. He surged forward, heat vision blazing for a moment. Naruto twisted, using his cloak to deflect the beam just enough to misdirect it into the sea, where a geyser of steam shot into the sky. Then they were back to close quarters. Fist to fist, shockwave to shockwave. Superboy's strength was raw, like a small-scale Superman. But Naruto had finesse and unpredictability. Invisible Sage Mode strikes kept slamming into Superboy's pressure points. Unseeable, undodgeable, unfair. Seriously, bro. Superboy muttered after getting hit in the ribs by what felt like the wind itself. Where do you learn this stuff? Naruto backflipped, launched a Rasengan, then shadow-stepped behind Superboy as the chakra bomb was deflected. Oh, you know. 500 years of angry war orphans, ancient fox demons, and some light jogging. The good news? Naruto was learning tons from this fight. The bad news? He was learning it while being punched through a boulder for the 3rd time. Superboy stood in a crater he'd accidentally made, cracking his knuckles like he'd just finished tuning up a motorcycle. His jacket fluttered in the shockwaves, and the classic cool guy smirk was plastered on his face, like it had paid rent. You sure you want to see me go all out? Superboy asked, floating about 10 feet above the ground, surrounded by a faint golden shimmer. His personal sunlight-charged aura of doom. I mean, you're fast, Naruto, but you're not me fast. Naruto cracked his neck and gave him a grin that probably made dentists cry in joy. Yeah, enough with the handsome anime protagonist energy. Hit me with your best shot, Sunshine Boy. The air vibrated. Superboy blurred forward. 1 second he was lounging midair. The next he was toe-to-toe with Naruto. A shockwave kicked up behind him like a sonic boom tripping on caffeine. He went for a haymaker. Naruto ducked it. The ground where he'd just stood evaporated. Welp, Naruto muttered, flickering several feet away with a burst of chakra-infused speed. Guess this is happening? From that moment, it was a blurfest. Superboy zipped across the battlefield at 2 or 3 the speed of light, punching, blocking, and occasionally leveling trees with his sheer momentum. Naruto, moving at 1/3 the speed of light, relied on chakra limbs, split-second sage mode danger sense, and unpredictable clone Thu to keep up. A chakra arm sprouted from Naruto's back and launched a Rasengan directly into Superboy's ribs, only for it to crash harmlessly into a golden telekinetic force field. "Oh, come on," Naruto yelped as he was uppercutted into orbit. He flipped mid-air, summoned 2 clones mid-spin, and all 3 streaked back down like chakra-powered meteors. They struck in unison, one aimed low, one high, one from behind. Superboy spun like a breakdancer, blocking all 3 with his telekinesis. "Nice try." But Naruto smirked. "Oh, I'm just getting started." Suddenly, the forest dimmed. The sunlight dulled. Superboy blinked. "Hey, why is it cloudy?" he asked, squinting up at the sky. Naruto stood calmly on a tree branch, hands in a very smug sage sign. Fun fact, when you can manipulate nature, it's not hard to ask the local trees and wind spirits to form a very polite anti-sunlight intervention. Above, thick clouds swirled unnaturally, creating a dome of shadow around the battlefield. Even the leaves on the trees shifted, angling to block any lingering light. The forest whispered like it was in on the prank. Superboy's golden aura flickered. He frowned. "Oh, that's dirty." Naruto beamed. "Yup, welcome to my ninja world, solar panel boy." As Superboy's movements slowed just a fraction, Naruto pressed the advantage. Clone after clone erupted from the shadows, each striking from wild angles. Some used Sage Mode invisible strikes. Nature itself slapping Superboy upside the head with vines and gusts of wind. Others wove in between attacks, providing distractions, fake-outs and enough banter to fill a convention panel. Superboy blasted some back with eye lasers and force waves, but he was noticeably straining now, relying on stored solar energy. "You planned this, didn't you?" he grunted, catching a chakra limb, only for another Rasengan to explode behind him. Naruto skidded past, leaving a trail of cracked earth. Yep, Nightwing's little chessboard strategy was cute, but if I'm gonna fight Superman Jr., I gotta think outside the solar box. The next punch Naruto landed had a lot more force than the last. Superboy actually slid back. "Okay," he said, panting. "That one tickled." Naruto gave him a foxy grin. "That's the goal. Don't worry, just a little longer, and you'll be on energy-saving mode." Superboy raised an eyebrow. "You mean you're depowering me with tree shade?" "I prefer the term eco-friendly battle efficiency," Naruto said. Another clone exploded into a lightning-enhanced Rasengan, this time slamming Superboy into a rock wall. For a brief moment he stayed there, embedded like a very confused poster. Then he laughed. "Man, this is actually kind of fun." If Naruto's clone had a bucket list, getting blasted into orbit by a half-Kryptonian in shades probably wasn't on it. But hey, life comes at you fast, especially when your opponent moves at 2/3 the speed of light. The battle had been going on long enough that birds had relocated. Satellites were probably twitching nervously, and at least 3 local weather systems had formed and dispersed, thanks to shock waves alone. Naruto's clone, powered up with Sage Mode, chakra arms, and more tricks than a stage magician with ADHD, stood tall in the sky, well, as tall as someone can stand on wind and chakra platforms while sparring a solar-powered alien. Across from him, floating like the poster child for cool older brother who rides a motorcycle and definitely has a mixtape, was Superboy's shirt slightly torn, arms crossed and glowing faintly from the sunlight he had soaked up like a tan-hungry cat. "Wanna go full power?" Naruto's clone said, grinning like someone who just ordered the spiciest thing on the menu. Superboy cracked his knuckles. "You asked for it." The world blurred. One moment Naruto was mid-air, the next wham, a fist slammed into his side, launching him like a rag doll into a nearby mountain. Crack, boom, rumble. The mountain regretted existing. Before the clone could fully stand up, zoom, Superboy was behind him, grabbing his shoulder and slamming him into the ground. Not the ground below, a new one formed in mid-air, from raw pressure alone. Naruto used chakra arms to lash out in a flurry of Rasengans from all directions, each one spinning with nature-enhanced fury. One grazed Superboy's cheek, and that was it. The rest dodged like someone who played DDR on expert mode. Kadoo! A blow to the chest. Zhang. A heat vision blast to the side. Thump. Another gut punch that sent Naruto spiraling. Slam. He went down like a shooting star, crashing into a mountain range. The explosion shook trees into winter early. But Naruto wasn't done. His chakra limbs caught him mid-fall, swinging back up with a whirling vortex of wind chakra. An invisible attack meant to strike from behind. But Superboy sensed it. Or maybe he just felt the shift in air molecules. Either way, he spun mid-air, caught the invisible attack with a telekinetic shield, and countered with a blast of pure force field shockwave. Alright, Superboy said with a lopsided grin, time to wrap this up before this gets embarrassing. He blurred forward. Phase 1, elbow strike to Naruto's jaw, sending him upward. Phase 2, spin kick mid-air, that launched the clone horizontally. Phase 3, telekinetic slam. Superboy didn't even touch him, just willed him downward into the clouds. Phase 4, grabbed his ankle and rocketed upward like a missile, the stratosphere tearing around them. I hope you had fun, Superboy said, his sunglasses somehow still perfectly on his face despite much speeds. Then, boom, a full-charged heat vision blast, solar heat condensed into a pinpoint beam, burst from his eyes and hit the clone point blank. The chakra screamed. The Sage mode flared, then fizzled. The clone exploded into mist and shimmering chakra shards. The sky echoed with the sound of raw power unleashed. Superboy floated there, a silhouette against space, then slowly descended back to Earth like the ending of a superhero movie. With a flick of his wrist, he adjusted his sunglasses. Cool clone, he muttered, but I'm still the real deal. Starfire? If there was one thing Naruto Uzumaki wasn't used to, it was hitting someone with a Rasen shuriken, the size of Mount Fuji, and having them casually walk through it like it was a summer breeze. Welcome to Starfire Problems. The orange-skinned alien princess floated mid-air like a glowing goddess of atomic sunshine. Her hair was a living flame. Her eyes burned green like neon kryptonite, and her smile, way too cheerful for someone currently tanking jutsu, strong enough to send continental landmasses to early retirement. Naruto hovered across from her, covered in scuffs, a little singed, and looking like someone who just learned water was flammable. So, Starfire said sweetly, deflecting a tailed beast bomb with her palm, you mentioned you were strong? Naruto winced. Yeah, I was strong back home. Starfire twirled mid-air, catching a high-speed Rasen shuriken with a solar barrier and eating it like a popcorn kernel. You're adorable. Do continue. He grinned despite himself. Oh, I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying. To be fair, it started out okay. Starfire had matched his speed at the beginning, maybe even held back a bit for the sake of politeness, which was adorable in a please stop smiling while you vaporize my attacks kind of way. Naruto's skill carried him early clones, trick angles, chakra feints, shadow feints, elemental shifts. He was fighting like a grandmaster ninja possessed by a hyperactive blender. But then Starfire decided to stop playing nice. With a casual power-up, her speed kicked up by 50%, and Naruto felt it immediately. 1 second, she was mid-dodge, and the next she was behind him, tapping his shoulder like a playful schoolgirl before drop-kicking him through a mountain. He crashed, bounced, flipped, then blurred right back into the sky. His face said ninja fury, but inside he was calculating and sweating. I'm going to need a bigger jutsu. And thus began the fireworks. Naruto unleashed everything. Sage mode flickers, shadow clone battalions, wind-style barrage, a triple-layered Rasen shuriken, powered by Kurama's chakra, that could erase a mountain range, and he threw it like a baseball pitcher on his third espresso shot. Starfire caught it with one hand, then sneezed. Boom! The countryside vanished. Naruto floated there, mouth open. Bless me, Starfire said. Naruto coughed. Okay, new rule. You're not allowed to be charming while casually ignoring my most dangerous attacks. Starfire giggled, and then Naruto launched a Bidudama. The sky went white. The planet shook. Birds, if there were any left in the radius, probably reconsidered their life choices. She emerged from the smoke, glowing even brighter. Not a scratch on her. I can survive a planetary explosion, you know, she said helpfully. Naruto's eye twitched. Could have led with that. She winked. You're doing your best. It's just not enough. Oof. He took a moment, inhaling deeply as he floated with his arms crossed. Okay, that's fair. I just don't have a planet destroyer in my back pocket, you know? Well, Starfire said, charging a bolt of searing star energy in her hand. Perhaps you should get one. Note to self, Naruto needed way bigger explosions. Naruto had just popped the last of his clones like balloons at the end of a very aggressive birthday party. With the usual headache of information overload, pounding through his skull and enough sensory input to write a doctoral thesis on superhuman physiology and the importance of not getting vaporized, he finally had a plan. Okay, he muttered, massaging his temples. So, she's solar-powered. Like a really hot, slightly less smug version of Superboy. Got it. Cue the light bulb moment. If she needs solar energy to stay super, then maybe it's time to play Cosmic Shade Master. With a quick hand sign and a grin that screamed science experiment gone rogue, Naruto tapped into the nature of the world around him. The sun above dimmed just slightly, only noticeable if you were a Tamarinian who ran on star juice and hadn't had her breakfast photons yet. Starfire blinked. Did the sun just hiccup? Naruto smirked. Oops, must have been a solar burp. Hope you didn't need that. At the same time, he dialed up the local gravity around Starfire like he was pressing the difficulty increase button in a video game. Her movement slowed, not drastically, but enough to make her flying look like she was wading through caramel. Meanwhile, he turned his own gravity off entirely, turning himself into a golden blur of chakra and speed. Now we're even again, he called out, zipping around her like an over-caffeinated hummingbird. No more holding back. To her credit, Starfire didn't panic. She just sighed. Why are Earth boys always so dramatic? Because we don't glow and shoot lasers from our hands, Naruto quipped. We've got to overcompensate, but speed wasn't enough. Not when she still shrugged off his hits like they were mosquito bites. Her durability was on a whole different level. The Rasen Shuriken had barely singed her hair. The Biju bombs tickled, and the lasers, well, let's just say she yawned through a chakra blast that could have turned the Sahara into a crater. Then Kurama chimed in. Combine them, Rasen Shuriken, bombs, beam, stack them like chakra pancakes. Naruto's grin widened in a way that usually meant someone was about to regret everything. Let's make something shiny, explosive, and extremely irresponsible. What came next was something that probably violated about 17 intergalactic treaties. First came the skyscraper-sized Rasen Shuriken, a glowing buzzsaw of death that hummed with the threat level of a planetary disaster. Then, because subtlety was dead, he summoned 12 Biju bombs to rotate around it like angry moons in a chakra hurricane. From the ground, it looked like a god had just tossed a chakra disco ball at the sky. And while that mini-apocalypse soared towards Starfire, Naruto crouched and began charging a beam. A big one, the kind of beam that makes scientists scream and satellites go blind. The Rasen Shuriken hit first, creating a shockwave that bent trees and probably caused at least 2 volcanoes to nervously consider early retirement. Before the smoke cleared, Naruto unleashed the beam from below. A torrent of raw energy roared upward, piercing the sky like a second sun being born in the wrong direction. It sliced through the atmosphere, sizzled past orbit, and if left unchecked, was about 2 seconds away from giving the moon a complimentary crater. And then, whoosh! Green Lantern Hal Jordan arrived like someone late to a fire drill, and casually blocked the beam with a giant green shield, whistling like it was just another Tuesday. Easy there, sunshine, Hal said through the communicator. We like our moon round, not Swiss cheesed. Up in the watchtower, Batman didn't even blink. Nightwing, tell them to dial it down. Nightwing, lounging in a tree with binoculars and a snack, tapped his earpiece. Hey Star, our new friend's trying to terraform the moon again. Starfire turned mid-fight and gave Naruto a deadpan look. Please do not throw planet-ending attacks without a proper warning. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Right, sorry. I was trying to make an impression. She smiled. You certainly did. Somewhere in the background, a seismologist fainted. Space. The final frontier. Or as Naruto put it, big empty place with no ramen shops and too much floating. But hey, it did make a pretty great training arena. After their last little oops I might have blown up a continent moment, Naruto and Starfire agreed that a space fight was safer for the Earth and the Moon, hopefully. Starfire had asked, very diplomatically, if he could survive up there without, dying. Naruto grinned and gave her a thumbs up. I can make oxygen with chakra. It's just a matter of recycling my breath with some fancy nature transformation. I read it in a scroll once. Starfire blinked. That is oddly practical. And with that they shot into orbit. Now most people would describe fighting in space as disorienting. There's no sound, no up or down, and the Earth just kind of floats behind you like a big blue spectator. But Naruto, he adapted fast. The fight started with a flash, literally. Starfire launched herself forward, fist glowing with enough solar juice to vaporize a mountain. Naruto sidestepped mid-air, or mid-vacuum, and poofed a clone into existence with a flick of his finger. Starfire's punch collided with the clone's face. Boom. Clone gone. But that was just bait. From behind, another clone elbowed her in the back. Then two more appeared on her left and right, grabbing her arms. Naruto himself shot from below, spinning with a Rasengan, not fully charged, just enough to disorient. He slammed it into her stomach and sent her tumbling backward into the blackness. Good one. Starfire called out through her comm. She wasn't even mad. In fact, she looked delighted. Your strategy is quite explosive. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly, even as another 6 clones popped around him. Thanks. I call it clone foe. Trademark pending. The battle became a dance. One clone zipped forward, drawing her attention. She chased it, only for it to poof before impact. Another clone appeared directly below her, aiming a spinning kick to the side of her head. Poof. Gone. But it shifted her momentum just enough for 2 other clones to launch Naruto himself from behind, like a rocket-propelled cannonball. He smashed into her with a chakra-infused punch that sent her spiraling through an asteroid field. You're hard to hit, she shouted, smiling brightly, even as she spun. You're hard to damage, Naruto shot back, flipping into another hand seal combo. Seriously, I've fought people who've turned into giant monsters, and you're still more durable. Another flurry of clones surged forward like a glowing school of fish. Some exploded into smoke mid-tackle, forcing her to twist, rotate, and counterattack wildly. But Naruto was moving differently now. He had removed gravity from himself, making him light as a feather. He could accelerate without resistance, darting around like a kunai shot from every direction at once. Meanwhile, Starfire, now weighed down with an artificial gravity field, courtesy of Naruto's nature manipulation, was having a harder time keeping up. Still, she was learning. Naruto noted how her movements started to sharpen, how she adjusted her solar energy to burst in short jets from her feet and shoulders, helping her counter the gravity. She was syncing her breathing with chakra timing, analyzing his patterns with warrior discipline. Your technique is beautiful, she told him mid-spin, parrying 5 clones and kicking through another's chest, like watching 1,000 minds move in harmony. A battlefield ballet. Naruto turned red. No, seriously, actually red. Chakra flickered uncontrollably around him for a second as he forgot to breathe. No one's ever said that before, he mumbled, completely distracted. One of his clones got punched in the face and exploded a second too early, making the combo fizzle. Starfire tilted her head. Has no one appreciated your artistry before? Mostly people yell cheater, or stop spamming clones, or oh no, not another one. Still, despite being ragdolled, flung left and right, up and down, well, whatever up was in space, Starfire wasn't even scratched. Naruto's hits landed, his combos were elegant, and the coordination was flawless, but she was built different. Tamaranian physiology apparently came with an upgrade package that included can survive a planet explosion and still look fabulous. Naruto finally called his clones back with a hand sign, panting slightly. Okay, so I can outfight her. I just can't hurt her. That's fair, right? Kurama's voice snorted in his head. Fair's got nothing to do with it, brat. You're fighting a solar-powered space princess. Count your blessings. What? Starfire replied innocently. Did you say something? Nope. Just talking to my inner demon, as you do. She grinned. How charming. By the time they regrouped, Naruto's clones were all gone, blown away earlier by Superboy's haymakers, Wonder Girl's golden lasso, and Miss Martian's psychic sneak attacks. Naruto hovered in front of Starfire. chest rising and falling with effort, but his eyes still locked on her, not as an enemy, as a fellow warrior. "You can't win, and I can't knock you out," he said, voice somewhere between admiration and exhaustion. "That is true," Starfire agreed, brushing some floating hair out of her face. "So we call it a draw?" "I believe so," Starfire said, holding out her hand with royal poise. Naruto nodded and tapped her hand with his fist. "Draw." Back on Earth, Barbara was still catching her breath. She had been running, flipping, outsassing, and barely surviving an army of clones who treated her more like a fun mini-game than a target. She looked at Naruto, who was now radiating calm, his cloak of chakra energy still swirling around him like he was ready to start round 70 at any moment. "Are you ever going to come out of battle mode?" she wheezed. Naruto shook his head. "This is my training. I'm staying like this for a while." Barbara groaned and flopped onto the grass. "Of course you are." Up in the trees, Nightwing chuckled, sending a message to the watchtower. "Yeah, they're done. Tell Hell the moon's safe, for now." Lagoon Boy sat on a rock, with all the charm of a soggy tuna sandwich, arms crossed and gills puffing slightly in indignation. He stared at the ground like it had personally betrayed him, because clearly being blasted into the ocean by a Baiju-enhanced resin shuriken wasn't his fault. It was gravity's. Naruto hovered nearby, glowing faintly with residual chakra, his battle mode still active. The air around him shimmered with heat and chakra particles, and his gravity field still hummed faintly, causing pebbles near his boots to vibrate. He hadn't even turned it off. Casual, "I had a plan, you know," Lagoon Boy muttered. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. "You were great, man. Honestly, you dodged 2 of my clones. That's 2 more than most people." Lagoon Boy groaned louder. Beast Boy, on the other hand, was bouncing around in full monkey form, doing cartwheels while humming what sounded suspiciously like the Naruto opening theme. He somersaulted to a stop next to the blonde and gave him a fanged grin. "Dude, that giant fox thing, so cool. Like, 9 tails of nightmare fluff, awesome. I'm gonna totally try morphing into it someday. Think people would freak out?" Naruto blinked. If you can turn into Kurama, I think Kurama might freak out." From inside, Kurama snorted. "Let him try, I dare him." Dainin Reyes, the blue beetle, walked over with a small limp and a tired smile. The scarab muttered something in a language Naruto didn't know, but Chaimi translated with a shrug. "He says you're a walking supernova and possibly an interdimensional threat." Naruto grinned. "Ah, thanks. But seriously, thanks for the spare, Hermano." Chaimi added, "It wasn't exactly even, but maybe next time we try something a little more balanced." "Sure," Naruto said, offering a fist bump, which Chaimi returned with a tired thud. "I'll keep it to shadow clones and minimal planetary destruction." "Appreciated." Bumblebee floated in next, her wings buzzing faintly. Despite the fact that half the trees around the training ground were charred or slightly melted, she looked more curious than annoyed. "Okay, so you can literally manipulate gravity and weather? That's a whole branch of quantum physics we just skip, huh?" Naruto blinked. "I mean, I use nature chakra. So, yeah? I want to run tests on your chakra, and your aura, maybe your blood." Naruto stepped back. "Maybe not my blood." She laughed. "Just kidding. Kind of. But seriously, you ever want to learn more about the science behind your powers or need help refining your control systems? Hit me up. Nature manipulation, with scientific precision, could be revolutionary." Naruto nodded, actually intrigued. "Sure, I mean, I do like learning, especially if it means I can get even better. That's the spirit." Across the field, Starfire floated down beside Nightwing, who had been sitting in his favorite broody tree spot this whole time. She touched down softly and looked back at Naruto with a proud smile that somehow managed to not be flirty at all, just warm. "He fights with passion," she said, "and strategy. It reminds me of Tamarin." Nightwing gave her a small smile. "You liked him." "I respect him," she corrected, her voice firm but kind. "He is like me in many ways, though far more dramatic." Nightwing raised an eyebrow. "More dramatic than you?" "Only slightly," she replied with a playful smirk. "But I'm glad I fought him. His power is overwhelming, but his heart remains light." Naruto, catching her words, waved awkwardly from a few meters away. You're not Gonna flirt or anything, right? No offense? Starfire blinked, then laughed, loud and joyful. Oh no, I am in love with Nightwing. He is my fiancé. She flew over and gave Nightwing a kiss on the cheek for confirmation. Naruto exhaled like someone had taken a massive weight off his shoulders. Phew. Good. People have been weird lately. Naruto stood in the middle of the smoking crater they now called a training ground, his orange cloak flickering like a bonfire that had grown a personality and a big ego. The others were still brushing off dust, stretching sore limbs, and pretending they hadn't just gotten steamrolled by a blonde whirlwind with chakra-enhanced everything and a nine-tailed monster on speed dial. Naruto turned toward the trio of Bat-Kid elites, Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing, hands on hips radiating the kind of chaotic confidence that usually preceded an explosion or an unsolicited life lesson. He said, half amused and half challenging. You guys should really arm yourselves better. No offense, but I didn't even feel most of your hits. You need something that can actually scratch me. Can't you get weapons on the same level as that? He jerked a thumb toward Wonder Girl's lasso, which still crackled with divine sassiness. Cassie smirked, her ponytail swaying like it was in on the joke. Are you interested in it? Naruto blinked. Then he smiled. A dangerous, unhinged kind of smile that said, watch this dumb idea happen in real time. He pulled out a kunai, spun it around like he was auditioning for a ninja-themed circus, then stabbed it clean into his palm. Crack. The metal exploded into glittering shards that pinged off his cloak and hit the ground with sad little clinks. Everyone stared. Batgirl actually winced. Okay, Naruto muttered, inspecting the now very kunai-less hand. That was dramatic, but you get the point. He turned his palm outward, letting the shards fall like confetti at a depressing party. I need something better. These things, he said, flicking his fingers at the remains, are practically paperweights now. Chakra enhancement can only take them so far. If the base material isn't strong enough to begin with, it's pointless. I'm burning through them like snacks. Nightwing crossed his arms, expression thoughtful. He had that look on his face, the one he got when someone mentioned explosive gel or grappling hook upgrades. We'll let the League know about your recommendations. Good ones, by the way. Then he held up a gloved finger like a teacher about to give a pop quiz. But just so you know, we do have specialized high-tech armor. Personal suits for when we're dealing with someone on your level. Situations like this, total training mode. If we don full tech, this would have turned into a newbie bullying situation. Batgirl finished, deadpan. Naruto raised an eyebrow. So, you're telling me I've been sparring against the training wheels version of Gotham's finest. Robin muttered. Don't get cocky. Too late. Nightwing continued. Anyway, as for your weapons, that's up to the Justice League now. They've seen everything. You made an impression. Whether it was a good one or not. Well, they'll decide. Maybe you'll end up on the JL roster. Unlikely, Superboy scoffed, arms crossed, hovering slightly above the ground, like a grumpy hoverboard. He's too childish. Came Beast Boy's voice, raising one green finger while leaning against the wall like a sitcom sidekick. The Flash is literally on the Justice League, not exactly Mr. Stoic himself. Thank you. Naruto threw his hands in the air. Someone gets it. I'm fun, not childish. There's a difference. Tell that to the kunai you just kamikazed. Through your palm, Batgirl said under her breath. King Yi raised his hand hesitantly. Is this the part where we all pretend this was a normal spar, and not a mini-apocalypse in disguise? You're catching on quick, Blue, Bumblebee muttered, arms crossed, still brushing soot from her hair. Naruto clapped his hands together, grin returning full force. All right, I'll be waiting for those weapon upgrades. If they send me a baseball bat, I'm sending it back with a tailed beast bomb inside. You're what now? Robin started, but Nightwing clapped a hand on his shoulder. Don't ask. It'll only encourage him. Cassie chuckled, wrapping her lasso back onto her belt. Well, if you ever do get JL-level gear, Naruto, just try not to break those, okay? No promises, he winked. But hey, at least then it'll be their problem.